What is going on, everybody, and welcome to the final game of the NECC matchups here tonight. I know you're thinking that was a long game, but there is even going to be one more. Brought to you by Septilence and Nuclear. Excuse me. We are ready to bring you this game near 2 a.m. here on the East Coast. But this is bound to be a good one. How are you this morning, Nuclear?
Well, it's a fresh morning outside. I smell the dew already bringing the moisture from the air together, and I'm excited to be here. I'm thrilled to be
Absolutely.
casting with you tonight, Septilence. And before we start the series, I want to give a quick shout out to my Twitter. You can follow me on Twitter at Chase Newcomb. I do casts at 2 a.m. and sometimes I direct collegiate esports programs. But most of the time, I'm here to call out the big names. And do we have big names ahead of us
Oh,
tonight?
absolutely.
As we're ending the Navigators division, we do have Fresno State Blue versus Carroll University.
Yeah, Carroll, a team that I have seen a couple of times, not very many, but I know I've seen them one or twice, and I know that they have made a name for themselves, quite early on. Before we focus on those teams, we're shouting ourselves out early. You guys can go follow me on Twitter as well. I'm just a funny guy. That's all I've got going for me right now. But I also talk about video games. I also do broadcasts at 2 o'clock in the morning, and it is just Sepulence as well. I think it's right below me. You'll find me all over the place. But this is going to be a great matchup. I've actually never seen Fresno play before, so this is a new team for me, and somehow they've made it all the way to grand finals under my radar.
Yeah, and it's been a series for them like the past couple of weeks. Indeed, I have had the pleasure of being able to cast both of these
Yeah.
teams in the playoffs in the series, and I know I sent some of those notes your way, but
Yes.
looking at tonight, in the quarterfinals, we actually casted Carroll University and we saw them take down
Yes.
Concordia University, Nebraska. And in that set, Grim Reaper was the MVP. It was
Yes.
also his
Absolutely.
birthday on that set, and that was really interesting. We saw also in that set Zarya, Biowolf Zarya was a threat, 100 charge basically the entire game, and every grav caught
Yeah.
more than three
The
people.
grabs were insane. The grabs, they were almost so consistent. It was like a grab like every fight, it felt like. I don't know if that was actually the case, but that's definitely how it felt. And I'm super excited to jump into this control map because I feel like we're really going to find out, no pun intended here, which one of these teams is in control. Realistically, we talked about this before, during that small break, that this realistically could be a sweep either way. This could go all the way down to map 7. It's really going to be who finds that early momentum to succeed.
Yeah, and we are in a best of 7 series. So if you
Oh,
are now
right.
just joining us, the way that this is going to work is first we're going to have control, then we're going to have hybrid, third is going to be assault, then we're going to move over to escort, and then we're going to repeat 5 back to number 1. So control, hybrid, escort. Then if it goes to game 8, which if this series is anything like the previous 2 series, it may. And that last map would be control. So
Yeah,
the
right.
first map that we are going to see tonight, though, is Lijiang Tower. That both teams have agreed on that, um, and I'm excited to see, what content is in store, what content is ahead of us.
Yeah, no, I'm very excited to see kind of what comps are going to be coming out. We know that there's a little bit of consistency coming through on both sides. It's going to be, of course, we know that but double bubble is very common right now, as well as that brawl. So I think both of those are going to be viable. It looks like we might be moving into Oasis actually, so maybe a little bit of a confusion
Oh,
early on there with the map choice. But hey, I love Oasis. I love Gardens. I think it's a beautiful map.
so it seems as though right now we are having some technical difficulties on the back end with just the
Visuals.
visuals. Exactly, they're I'm hearing a lot of "I'm blind," and it scares me. So uh, we're gonna take a quick pause and just kind of recollect. So we did talk a little bit before and you know what? I wasn't even ready to go in yet. I still have stuff to talk about. So we talked a little bit about what we've seen from Carroll University, right?
Right.
A threat to be reckoned with. And coming into the series as the number 2 seed, they are going to be going up against Fresno State. And it was actually last week I casted a set of Fresno State taking on Concordia University, Wisconsin in the semifinals. So kind of interesting mirror as we saw both of these teams take on Concordia University teams to make it to this point. Um, in that set, honestly, the players I'm looking for on Fresno tonight are Cherry, KCV, and Vexarath. They were
Right.
threats last week. Specifically Vexarath's Baptiste was an offensive and defensive character in itself. He was taking out people left and right while keeping his team alive, and it felt like every single team fight, Batfield was there. It was just
Right.
ready and it was
Right.
popped.
Absolutely. And now we didn't really get to jump into the fight, but the players just had the opportunity to lock in their heroes, and there's
Interesting
I'm only
picks.
going to assume it's a bit of a meme. They had the time to swap off, but already locked in. I don't want to name anything because I don't want to give away any team comps, but definitely two very different comps. I'll make a note that the only hero we see twice is Lucio. Other than that, it is 11 different heroes.
Wow. Yeah, you're
That's
you're
something.
100% right. But we're looking at some of these heroes. I'm seeing, wow, it looks like I'm actually seeing Fresno State run the comp that I kind of predicted that they would run. KCV can run a couple of different DPS. He mainly ran the Reaper and Ash in the previous maps, and both were massive threats. On the side of Carroll University, they are opting for a very interesting comp on Oasis specifically. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, no, it's definitely like I said. I don't want to give anything, away of these team comps in case somebody is going to be watching. But it looks like
Oh.
I'm curious to see if this comes to fruition. Now, I won't name any specific heroes, but we're looking at two off supports, not two main tanks as well. It's a very unique comp, and again, they had so much time to change through that I can only assume they're probably going to be swapping there. So I think we're seeing kind of the meme lock in versus that instant lock in coming out on the side of Fresno. They kind of immediately went for what they're comfortable with, and honestly, Oasis in particular, kind of talking about control points, is I love this map type, this King of the Hill style. It is my favorite maps type in the game because it really calls for some unique team comps you don't see in a lot of other things. While Double Bubble may be the meta in, on that escort, on that hybrid, we kind of see Brawl come out on almost every map on the side of controls. Of control maps of that King of the Hill style. So I'm curious to see, is that just going to be coming through again, or are we maybe going to see some variation like we're seeing a little bit from Carroll University right out the gate?
Yeah, I honestly would have to agree with you as well, Sept. I think that is a meme comp I'm looking at right now. There's no way that's what they're actually running. And if that is what they're running, then I think Twitch chat will kind of agree with me, and PogChamp is a go-to point. But you know, looking more at these teams, another thing that I really want to touch on is Fresno State's ult economy. Their ult economy and going in between their set back and forth with Concordia University, Wisconsin was top tier. Every fight, they at least had 3 ults going into those fights, and they were very meticulous on how they paired their ults together. So that kind of, oh, it sounds like they are going to try to resync. So we are going to be on standby while they're resyncing.
22, 23. Yeah, it's sync. Yep, we're good.
When we're synced, I I said this earlier, but I feel like I'm in Pacific Rim every time they try to resync. I feel like I'm syncing with you, Sept. We're just like getting ready.
It's nice. Yeah, I feel like I'm almost like putting on my fighting gear, right? Like I'm getting ready to line up. We're starting here on map 1. A reminder: this is a best of 7, so technically a first to 4. That is a this like I said earlier could be a very long series. This could be a 4-0. This could be a 4-3, even going all the way to that map 7. So I'm very excited to see. Do we see these meme comps come out now that we're going to be jumping out of the pause? I can say it because there is that delay on stream. Are we going to be seeing this Bastion come out on Oasis Gardens? I don't think so, but I would be stoked to see. I really would.
I mean, the Bastion Torb. Come on.
Choice.
That's
a choice.
Those are characters that you can in fact pick in Overwatch Online.
Absolutely. Those are certainly characters that you could choose to pick on Oasis. Now, is that a good idea? No. Absolutely not. But is that something we're going to be seeing out? Only time will tell. And honestly, I'm super excited because if we do see the Bastion, he's one of my favorite characters in the game to play, one of my favorites to watch, and he is just a force to be reckoned with. But we called it from the very start. That was nothing but a meme pick. And now it's going to be that Ryan Zarya versus Ryan Diva. A couple of differentials here in the DPS as well with Tracer versus the Reaper.
Yeah, definitely some more of a mirror than you anticipated those. We are seeing a McCree come out from either team. Cherry and Silent both running the comp. It looks like both teams are going to meet up in the middle here, trying to get a high ground advantage. Ooh, Cherry is going to pick Silent. Flower is going to be able to pick Bitter Vet. This seems like a run through for Fresno.
Absolutely, this is going to be a run through for Fresno indeed. They're going to get a very early lead here, able to find main tank. That's a 4th down as well. That's to do hardly getting to breathe, and all of a sudden, they're only captured Fresno.
Yeah, and as we're going in between points, something very interesting to point out that we have yet to do at this point is in Week 9, Fresno State actually lost to Carroll University 1-2. Their first loss of the season. So this is possibly some of the closest games that we can see tonight, and that's saying something.
Absolutely. I mean, both these teams practically undefeated. We see Carroll University, their only loss in Week 1, and then Fresno, their only loss in Week 9. So both these teams sitting around that 1-loss marker. And right now, Fresno, they're definitely getting that lead. Then they come down to the team comp, then they come down to the play style. All things considered, it's going to come down to which one of these teams is going to be able to adapt the fastest. Now, we need to keep an eye on these team comps and see who can really make a difference early on. And we're going with these swaps to see if there's going to be value out of them. You got to be careful not to play that musical chairs the very same. And BioWolf right now on the device said, is a hero going to make a difference? It is BioWolf all day long with that triple kill.
Wow, and what a play from BioWolf as well. Being able to quickly transfer targets on a point like that in those team fights is really going to add value. And it added enough value for Carroll because now they're sitting on 4 ultimates. They can go into this next fight big chillin' holding defense.
Absolutely, and holding defense is exactly what they're going to be looking to do. 4 ultimates ready versus 4 on the opposing side as well. That KCB coming up on 75% of that lineup. And now the Pulse Bomb comes out early and able to find one, but KTM takes himself out of the process. It's even that high news coming through, trying to find any value in Flower, just barely able to keep it alive. Phenomenal immortality here, all of a sudden he's getting lined up, and already that Flower just really able to survive long enough to also be taken out in the same moment.
Wow, yeah, it was really close. Grim is just a Grim Reaper, really, on this point. We were talking about it earlier. I mainly have seen him shine on the Reinhardt, but it's really refreshing to see him really shine through on another pick.
Not about that, like you said, the Reinhardt's definitely something we've seen quite often, but now instead, the Wrecking Ball, a weird pick, kind of an unconventional one. I'm always a fan of kind of having that lineup of the shield, but now kind of without it, see if they can make a big difference. Now it's going to come down to whether or not they're able to.
Ooh, and the High Noon's going to come out. Cherry is going to pick Grim Reaper, but Laskardu is going to turn around and get Nine-Night as well, saying, Nine-Night, indeed, it is 2 a.m. and we're rolling into the contestant of this first point in Oasis.
Absolutely. Now this first point in Oasis, things look so good for Fresno early on, but all of a sudden it's going to come down 50-80. So just in the blink of an eye, Fresno had a lead. Carroll with a lead of their own, and Silent trying to put Vex to sleep there in silence.
Yeah, and Carroll's gonna hold that. You know, that's a Carroll hold. Septilence, this might be an OPE on the first map. I'm not sure if Fresno is gonna come back and have enough to touch here. Oh, Grim is going to get the pick on Nine-Night, which is going to be a massive stagger going into the last few seconds of this play.
Oh, yeah, no, that's probably going to be all she wrote. You lost the Reaper, you lost the tank as well. That's just going to be kind of a 4v6 lineup here. Laskardu with that Am Matrix, a bit of insult to injury now, and all of a sudden things just going to be lined up here in favor. Silent goes for what I would call just a cheeky High Noon and finds 2 with it through the Am Matrix. A phenomenal turnaround early on. Cherry and Backpack going to fall. And like you said, you know, in the business, we call that a little bit of an oopsie.
An oopsie daisy indeed. They are going to get 1-0 on this map, and that is going to put Carroll University in the lead. If I were to predict before this game, you know, the main shining stars of Carroll, it was mainly in the past when I saw it was the support line and the tanks, really. Laskardu and Bittervet really shining through on playing Lucio Brig around Grim Reaper's Rhine. But it's very refreshing to see Silent, you know, taking the charge and really leading that for his team.
Yeah, absolutely. There was definitely a lead coming out early on there, and I'm curious to see, are these tanks going to be making a big difference, or is it going to come down to that DPS lineup that we've already seen? Silent making a huge value and huge gameplay kind of in that lineup there, but now the tanks, you know, I said, are they going to make a huge difference? BioWolf and the D.Va, it's their time to shine.
Yeah, and they are going to go and fight for this middle point. It looks like Fresno's going to be able to get there first, and they are going to hold point. Wow, massive pick on Grim. KCB getting the value where it's needed. Ooh, Flower sitting at 40, 50, very close, barely
50
coming back.
already.
Resuscitated.
Yeah, just barely able to stay alive. And speaking of 50, Silent already going up over 50 on that high noon, only 25% away of having that ultimate unlock. It is not every day you see a McCree getting high noon as the first ultimate in lobby.
Not at all, and Check's clock, has it only been 20 seconds? How's this man have high noon? How does Biowolf as well? Okay, never mind, Biowolf had mech. I had that was a strong battlefield though, coming out. It is gonna get charged. Grim Reaper did decide to switch back over to Reinhardt.
Yeah, and Grim Reaper committing a shatter there early on. I'm not really sure I'm necessarily a fan of that. I guess it does kind of help you clean up the end of that fight. But Carroll, they've done what they think they needed to cap point early on, and now they've already found a way into that first Oasis map, looking to find the second one. And personally, I'm a huge fan of City Center, so I'd love to see that here.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that we may, but Carroll is showing such a strong showing on these control maps, right? And we saw it in the last point. I think that they are forcing Fresno's hand and making Fresno play the Rein Zarya at their best ability.
Absolutely, you need to be forcing out that Rein Zarya. You need to force this team kind of not necessarily onto their back leg, but on their max game. And now Cherry gonna get that Blizzard completely for free. Biowolf nowhere in sight. Silent finds one KTM with another. Flower is able to pick up a kill, but KTM right now just tearing through the back line of Fresno. Now Carroll, they are on fire here on Oasis.
Wow, KTM v KVC or KCV. That's gonna be an accident.
It's gonna get a mix-up here. Yeah, it's gonna be a bit of a mix-up
for the books. But yeah, KTM, that Death Blossom took out everyone on Fresno State and really is making them regret their decisions on fighting on point like that. I thought Flowers' shield was going to be able to protect Backpack, but it looks like it wasn't enough. And the massive
Bitter Vet. Bitter is the one thing he most certainly just made both KCV and Vex there as he found both of them ultimate. He finds two more! He finds Flower and Night Knight. Are you kidding me? It is Bitter Vet all day long right now. That was 4 out of 6 eliminations handed to the Lucio.
Bitter Vet is a Sour Patch Kid because he was sweet at first, but ooh man, was that sour. That was a play indeed. And keeping them off point, really strategic from Bitter Vet because now they're sitting at 97. The Earth Shatters are coming out on either end.
Quadruple shatter from Flower there. I don't know if it was enough to win his team to fight, but my goodness, what a shatter indeed. And honestly, these two Lucios, we saw Bitter Vet and Backpack, and I was so ready to make a joke about Backpack being the carry, but instead it is Bitter Vet coming through that quadruple boop. Guaranteed play of the game, and I'm sure we will see it here in just a moment. I call that a caster's curse, a caster blessing, or just common sense. Is that quadruple kill coming through? I mean, look at it. There's 2 already. You almost found the May as well, and then he goes up and around. A bit of a cheeky play here. Picks up not one, but both of the tanks. Just phenomenal play there.
You know what we call that? We call that beautiful. That's what that was. Those were beautiful boops, Bitter Vet.
Yes,
you have nothing short of pride to be holding within you right now.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a sight to behold, to say the very least. And Oasis only going to be ending in that second, of those 2 stages. We do not end up seeing City Center, and that may be a good omen for those of you who have been with us since very, very early today. This game may not go all the way to that map 7, but of course that was only the control map. There could be so many maps left to play.
Oh, there's so many shenanigans to be had.
Absolutely.
And I'm excited to see what Fresno is going to clap back with as we go into map 2, and really what these pick bans are going to be. As we talked about it earlier, but the next map type is going to be hybrid. So, what are your predictions? What do you think?
So no personal preference on kind of what I expect to see from a hybrid map, but personally, I'm a fan of a couple hybrid maps, one more than the other. I'm a huge fan of King's Row personally, because as a Reinhardt player, it's a map built for the man, right? I mean, it is a map that is super fun to play, and I'm trying to think of maybe Blizzard World for some kind of long distance strategic advantage. But if anything, we saw Carroll kind of win that long distance matchup there, almost in particular due to Bitter Vet not really allowing the long distance fight to happen. But when Carroll was away, they were always finding those eliminations early on, so that may be a better pick for them. Maybe you do want to go for one of those close quarters maps like King's Row.
Yeah, and I would like to see King's Row again, but I mean, I know that Infernosis and Unicorn said it on the last cast, but it's something that we like to say every time. Scrims Row. I mean, who's going to say no to King's Row? Who doesn't like King's Row? It's one of the most popular maps in the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would definitely love to see it as well, but I really think that Fresno's big determiner going into these other maps is going to be their ability to group up together, because Carroll is staggering them like crazy, and making a 4 or 5v6 every time.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I think you've kind of hit the nail right on the head there. It's just constantly we're looking at 4v6s, 5v6s, and time again, we're just seeing Fresno kind of having their feet ripped out from underneath them. We've hardly seen team fight. Yeah, like quite literally, it's just one after the other, back and forth. They are just ripping Fresno apart almost from the inside. And it looks like we swapped over to Kings Row. I didn't catch the message if that's actually the map we're going to, but like I said, I can only hope it is because that is probably going to force that Ryan Zarya. And I'd like to see maybe a little bit more from the tanks. I don't think any of them played poorly, but I feel that game was almost entirely DPS, and then at the end there, Bitter Vet making a name for himself. So I think particularly I'd love to see almost all 4 tanks really step it up in this next game.
And I don't know if that's because we're seeing Biowolf on the D.Va, and
right.
We're not getting as much value, but Biowolf had a crazy Zarya that we were talking about at the beginning.
Right.
Both of these teams, actually, all 4 of the tank line, you're 100% right. All of the tank line. Flower of Ghost has an amazing Rhine. Grim Reaper has an amazing Rhine. I just want to see the brawl come out. I wouldn't even be mad if, both support lines on either team switched over to even a Brig or Lucio.
Right. No, and something interesting is, I want to not take back the comment, but I do want to highlight, we did see that triple kill on Gardens coming out from Biowolf. We did see that quadruple shatter from Flower. So there were moments where they were playing well. I'm not saying any of them were playing poorly, of course, but there's definitely, I'd love to see a little bit more consistency because there were those couple of good plays. Now we need to see a couple of good maps. We need to see that high energy coming through. And these are the 2 best teams in the division, right? You don't make it to these finals on accident. You have fought your way to get here. You are ready to take it to the bitter end, no pun intended. And now it's going to be one of these teams. I mean, if one of them walks away with a 4-0, that's almost less likely than going to 7 maps.
100%. I mean, we were talking about it earlier, but look at their season stats. Almost all of the matches that they've won have been 3-0s or just wipes. They've like you said, tore through their entire season to get to this moment as the number 1 and number 2 seed in the Navigators Division Finals. So looking at it from that vein, I 100% agree with you. There's going to be massive plays coming out from either of the tank lines and support lines if we can get to that point, right?
Yeah, certainly.
I think, and we did see that in the last map. We did see a lot of great ultimates come out from Fresno State's tank line, but there was no follow-up, and you have to have that follow-up to get any value out of it. Because, I mean, cool, you shatter 4 people, great, awesome. What are you doing afterwards? Because you're dead.
Yeah, if you get no kills with that shatter, I mean, it's a waste. Even if it could hit 6 people, if you don't walk away with even 1 elimination, you might as well not land in the shatter.
They're just getting up and going, oh, okay, yeah.
Right, just brushing off the dust a little bit. They're kind of like, all right, whatever. GG, go next on that fight, right? All you've done is put your ultimate down the drain. So maybe that's what we need to see a little bit from both sides, I think. We saw some massive shatters, some 3, 4, 5-man shatters on Oasis, and I don't think any of them were fight-winning ultimates because there was no follow-up. We just need to see a little bit more consistent follow-up. And now, Ryan Zarya versus Ryan D.Va all over again. KCV going for an early peak, but instead, almost having his head taken off by Silent there on the Ashe. It's going to be that 1-to-1 matchup. Going to be dropping down off that cheeky pick onto a little bit more consistent there with the Reaper.
And I wonder if we're going to see KCV switch over to the Ashe as well, see the mirror comp and the DPSs, because, like I said earlier, KCV had a really solid Ashe as well, but Silent showing that the aim is popping through. Ooh, Flower getting a very early pick on KTM.
Yeah, I know, that's going to be a massive pick there. So half that damage taken offline. Silent, 60% of the Bob, so maybe you farm that Bob with a massive dynamite just like that one there. Now up to 70%. You bring him in, he's kind of that replacement 6th member until that McCree can return. But, a great headshot as well. Just desperate to find this Bob. It's really going to come down to him maybe trying to find a support hero there. Cherry going to roll right in, rip that Rhine shield to shreds, and instead Vexarath going to be taken out by KTM. So the defending team, they're going to get back just in time, and Silent going to be able to coach gun back onto the high ground, but then he walks himself off down to 89 health, being focused off in that back line near the Vega. The statue can only protect him for so long. Going to be left, right, and center. Night Knight takes him. Night Knight goes Night Knight there, able to take himself out with that ultimate fire, and Silent finally picks up that double kill to win the fight.
Wow, and as we are watching that fight, back and forth from the DPSs as we were talking about earlier, we saw Silent get both of the kills at the end of the fight, but mid-fight, we really saw KTM get a couple of picks as we saw Fresno State try to push in, and they got quickly pushed back by Carroll.
Absolutely, that quick pushback was exactly what they needed, because losing something very early on was a little bit of a disaster for Carroll. They lose that McCree, like we said, and then they were able to stall long enough for him to return. That's exactly what they needed to be looking for. That was the value they were looking to find. And now an amp matrix from Vexarath is going to make things all the harder here for these defenders. We're going to see a little bit of aggression coming out, and instead, speaking of aggression, we see a massive shatter again, but no follow-up. So Grim is able to hit a huge one, and here comes Flower with a huge one of their own. Might be able to find something. Oh, but Grim is going to be taken out. There's that crucial follow-up, and the D.Va bomb from Biowolf finds 2. The D.Va D.Va making all the difference at the end of the day. Once again, might be able to keep the fight alive, but KCB just rolling to the back line. Silent now committing that bomb. A tick and a half already gained. KCB looking to pick up even more.
Wow, and KCB, looking to pick up point, backing up to try to get it. And honestly, we should have seen NECC back up because now BioWolf's pushing in, and this may not be point for Fresno State. They may not be able to get it.
Yeah, full swing. NECC actually staying up ahead might have stalled long enough for the other 5 to return there, so it was going to be that 5-person cap. 4 minutes on the clock, so not the best, not the worst that we've seen in terms of time banks, especially earlier today. I think we were looking at 5:32s and whatnot while Infernosis and Unicorn were here earlier today, but KCB is going to be able to pick up BioWolf, so they're going to lose that D.Va. They're going to lose the first corner to Streets phase, and that's arguably the best place to hold the cart before second point cap.
You have to. You're almost never going to be able to hold that second point cap if you don't hold in this first part, at least for a good amount, right?
Right.
And I honestly thought that we were going to see them come back and be able to defend the point. Oh, but we are going to see a massive grab come out from NECC, picking up 1, count them 2, Flower of Ghost taking out Silent, and KCB taking out Grim Reaper. They are going to res at the corner, trying to pull this with Grim. Grim is going to be very low in the front line, though. BioWolf's going to get the ultimate.
Yeah, BioWolf is going to get nanoed. Yeah, High Noon comes out. Cherry is going to be able to find Lasker. KTM picks up KCB as well, so a little bit of a turnaround on both sides. But now, Flower Ghost just kind of getting the roll forward. What a fire strike. KTM going to be taken out. 3 minutes. They've gotten all the way to second point in a little bit over a minute. Their time bank's about to go from good to great if they're able to cap in this fight.
And it's exactly what we just said. If you can't hold that first point, you're not going to have the time to hold the second.
Proof in the pudding.
That spawn in King's Row is just so unforgiving. You have so much space to cover, and when you're a lonely BAP, or even a lonely Ana just trying to get there, it's a very hard walk.
Right, and Silent almost able to find Sherry there with a headshot, but not quite able to pick up that kill. Damage boost didn't come through enough, and there's the first shatter that hasn't hit 4. Now KCB going for an kind of top rope Death Blossom, going to be taken out. Grim Reaper falling as well. Here's BioWolf trying to save the day, but instead KTM able to find a double kill with that High Noon backpack will fall. Cherry finds Bitter Bet, this 1-for-1 support trade coming through. The spawn advantage ever so clearly in favor of Carroll. They just need to stall out. Maybe 5 to 10 more seconds for their Mercy to return, and Bob most certainly will help get the job done.
100%. And Cherry and KTM, just a back and forth from those two as we're seeing them take out the support line on either respective team. So I really think this series is going to come down to maybe not so much the tank line, but what value the DPS can find. Because I was also sitting here thinking, why is BioWolf running D.Va when all season we've been seeing him run the Zarya? And then I saw KCB ult as Reaper, and she ate the entire ultimate. The D.Va ate the whole ultimate, and I was like, that is it. That's the reason why. As we're going to see Grim Reaper land a massive Earth Shatter, run through the team, and get a couple of kills on his own, and that's going to cause them to back up and quickly regroup.
Yeah, that was the first Earth Shatter I think we've really seen with that immediate follow-up we've kind of been talking about so much. That was a 4-man shatter, 3 of them ended up falling, and just like that, it was all but a freebie there. Some great value coming through, and that buys them a little bit more time just now curving that 2 minutes and 40 seconds. We see 3 ultimates versus 1. The nano boost from Lasker I mean, that's got to be enough to keep Carroll alive, because they're walking into an Ant Matrix, a beat, a High Noon, and nearly a grab. This could be a disaster here for Carroll if they don't play it slow.
I would 100% agree with you Carroll has to hold this corner. I mean, Fresno has 2 minutes and 20 seconds on the clock. They have
there
a couple
it is.
of fights. Cherry is going to be able to pick up Silent finally as we're seeing him, try for a hot minute.
Oh, it's over. It's over. Cherry with the double High Noon. I mean, just like that, that's all she wrote. A little over 2 minutes left on the clock, and all of a sudden, just the ultimate, they don't even use Shatter. The grab comes out, amp not needed, beat not needed. I mean, Fresno, they won that fight almost single-handedly because the McCree finds 3 in the fight.
But the beat was used, and do you want to make your backpack reference now?
Backpack, Backpack did do a good job there, but he's got to do a little bit better than that before I can crack the joke. He's got to earn it. We need to see Backpack come out a little bit stronger before I can actually call him a carry. But I definitely agree that I made a comment at the beginning of this, right after Oasis. I said I want to see the tank step up, and by golly, did all 4 of them step up here on King's Row.
Yeah, it's been an absolute slaughter fest back and forth, and we've seen it in the front line and the back line. We've seen both Rhines brawl out, both Grim Reaper and Flowers swing away, and then we turn away for a second. We see KCV, Cherry, KTM, and Silent just going at it as DPS. So as we're seeing some switches that may come out into this next point, we did see it in the last series, and it's been a pretty much a constant in the past couple of seasons. We are going to see Carroll try to run the Bastion strat with Symmetra.
I so badly want to see it. I want Carroll University to bring this Bastion out. I want to see if they can get it up onto the statue, or sometimes we see them teleport onto that high ground behind the statue, which is a little bit less conventional, but sometimes, you know, less conventional is what you want. You want to catch your opponents off guard, and the double hit scan coming out on the side of Fresno State is going to give them a little bit of a run for their money, I think. So that Bastion is immediately going to be given up on Silent instead, going to go for that cheeky kill early with the Widowmaker. KTM falling back onto that reliable Reaper, and as the gates open up, the clock will tick away. 4 minutes left for these teams to make the magic happen.
Yeah, maybe we're seeing enough of a variable from either team to cause a bit of a difference instead of it just being who's the better McCree or who's the better Ash, right? So KTM high ground, trying to get shots on KCV, but 56 health. He's going to back up, and we're going to see Cherry take down Bittervet with a headshot. Kind of brutal.
Yeah, Cherry able to find Bittervet there. Silent, however, able to find KCV, so immediately going to be that spawn advantage. Instead, Backpack able to pick KCV up off the ground. Your fight is not over yet, my friend, and now that full 6-6 going to be coming back to fruition. KTM able to find KCV immediately after the Ash hardly gets off a shot before she is taken back to spawn and back to the graveyard. Cherry desperate to farm this high noon, looking to make the magic happen, but right now, almost a free tick guaranteed here on the side of Carroll. Silent picks up Vexarat, that main support going to be gone. Backpack not far behind. Biowolf will find Flower, and this high noon simply cannot do enough with the angle Cherry has got. KTM takes a lot of damage, but is still able to pick up that kill onto Cherry. Night is going to be taken out by Silent. Silently will fall is indeed 3 minutes left on the clock here, and they will get that first point cap.
And that seemed like a nosebleed that just kept getting worse and worse and worse. And eventually we were just seeing it gouged, you know. There was nothing that they were able to do. Fresno was really trying to defend that point, and they had a couple of people that were able to get back in time. However, Carroll just kept up the pressure, stayed on point and said, keep going for the picks. We're going to play corner. We're going to take point. And that's exactly what we saw.
Yeah, absolutely. And now, I mean, this is that corner we need to talk about. Like you said, this is a crucial corner here if this team wants to succeed, but crucial indeed it will not be, as Backpack in the back line is going to be taken out by Silent. A phenomenal headshot there from that Widowmaker, and it's going to be that 5v6. That Rez is offline. That Valkyrie that was so close to being online is immediately eliminated from the fight. Biowolf farming up that grab and the slow rotation around through the left side, trying to find those kind of last-second kills, but not going to find them yet.
We are seeing a lot of the members of Carroll as well sitting on ultimates. You know, Biowolf, Laskardu both have their ults. Bittervet and Grim on the cusp of having it. And KTM, all that takes is one at the end of the team fight. He's going to have it. First hammer down's coming out, not going to find any. The second one going to find 5. Flower going for the sick pin in the back line, but the beat's going to save him. KTM with the Death Blossom. And it's going to take out.
KTM is just ripping them apart right now. That is a triple kill in total, able to find that cleanup crew, and all of a sudden, 4 minutes left on the clock. It's going to turn into a much larger time bank of 5:26.
KTM said, "Oh, you decided to switch off of D.Va. Oh, well, there's your first problem, because I'm playing Reaper, and I'm not going to let you defend the team for free." You know, Nine in that situation can only choose one person to defend, and when you have a Death Blossom going on 4, you just kind of stand there and take it.
Yeah, unfortunately, KCV is going to find KTM. Vexarat picks up Silent as well on that high ground. Cherry finds Bittervet, and there is not much left to be said about this fight. Grim finds Night, but that was kind of more of an exit frag than anything.
That's a good way to put it as well, with the Fire Strike and exit frag. I love that.
Yeah, he was able to find a kill, but, you know, at what cost? That doesn't really do much for the team right now. That was just kind of an insult to injury scenario. And Grim, speaking of Fire Strikes, able to find Backpack right away. That Lucio taken offline. A 5v6, of course, in favor of Carroll, as they've got that one-player advantage. Silent looking for a little bit of damage here, unable to find that shot onto that Reaper as he rates away. Cherry's going to find KTM, and the grab comes out. It's huge, but Cherry's ult maybe just enough to keep the team away. Instead, Cherry is going to be able to zone for just a moment, taking quite a bit of damage in the process. Grim Reaper drops a shatter and instead eats one, coming out from Flower, who finds 2 right away. And what a collapse from Fresno in that fight.
Fresno went in whole hog, and they didn't even have a Roadhog. They went all chips in on that. And we saw that ult come out from Cherry. We saw the high noon, and we've seen that in previous maps. He doesn't just use that high noon for the kills. He's not just the Reddit Kree, you know. He actually uses it very strategically a lot for positioning to get his team out of bad positions, and that's exactly what we saw when the whole team was grabbed. He sat back, he high noon, gave him the space they needed.
Yeah, it's definitely a good call. You know, you need to have competent supports that understand sometimes going for the kill isn't the most important thing, and that's exactly what Cherry did there. Is he used the high noon as a zoner, not as a kill confirm. And speaking of Cherry, I mean, we can't even finish the guy's name before he's doing more and more, able to find last review right away. Some break damage coming through and even higher value on this. Another high noon at the ready. Flower Ghost is going to find that fire strike onto Grim. Night picks up Biowolf. The tank line's gone. The Reaper is gone. And Fresno, they have burned almost half of this time bank.
You know, watching Carroll, the first map, take control and win these close quarters fights,
right.
I did not expect Fresno to pop off in this last point of King's Row. But this last point of King's Row is arguably one of the harder points to cap as well, because with the spawn right behind where the payload ends, they can just pop out. So you really need to get team wipe here. That's what Carroll needs to be looking for, is a whole team wipe on him.
KCV, he chooses not to get greedy there. We saw the kind of that Wraith in and then immediately back out. He decided he was probably going to get stunned or interrupted. Bitter Vet not going to that nano boost. Got to see if this Ana's finally going to pay off, and it most certainly will. Flower goes down to the drain. KTM going to be able to find some damage. It's KCV with the ULT, able to take Biowolf, Silent, and Lasker 2 to the grave. Grim Reaper picks up KCV, but the damage may have already been done. Cherry finds Grim Reaper and Fresno. They survive another fight.
What? Excuse me, what? Excuse
this
me,
Reaper,
what?
man.
Cherry and KCV, I'm telling you, Cherry and KCV are literally taking the entirety of Fresno and saying, hold the shield, keep the heals, we're gonna get the picks. It's gonna happen. Just give us the space, we're gonna make it happen.
Absolutely. I mean, it is just these DPS all day long. Don't get me wrong, everybody's playing great here on the side of Fresno, but Cherry and KCV, if they're playing even a little worse. Oh, speaking of ults, now KTM gonna be able to find 3 in the mix up there. Night picked up by Silent as well. That may have done it. It takes a very long time, but capping with anything over a minute of crucial importance. 1:40 left on the clock, and it looks like they're gonna be able to walk this in the third.
Yeah, and honestly, they're pretty close in time banks. I mean, 138 to 206. If you're able to hold the first point, that's really going to be the main determiner here. But we did see KTM, you know, take a couple of very quick notes when necessary on KCV's gameplay, and said, oh, okay, so you're jumping from the top and death blossoming? I got you, no matter what. As we are seeing, we are seeing a very discombobulated Subtilance getting back on the setup.
I may have knocked my webcam down, but I'm back. I fixed it. I'm back.
Fixed is a word.
Oh, I actually haven't seen how it looks yet, but I don't think chat can see me right now. Oh boy. Oh golly gee, chat. I'm so sorry. It is 2:55 in the morning here on the East Coast. You guys are gonna have to bear with me through a couple of slip-ups here and there, but I'm back, and I hope I still look handsome, Nuclear.
Were you so question, were you just trying to death blossom? Was that your whole
that was my impression. That was my impression of KCV so far. That's how he knocked me right off my feet. Knocked my entire webcam right off my camera.
Gotcha. Okay. I just wanted to make sure. Calculated. Okay. 100% calculated. We don't do anything short of calculations here at the NECC. But looking at the second map, you know, this is kind of scaring me because they both made it all the way. That shows that the offense is coming through for both of these teams, but the hard hold defense, is it there?
It's definitely kind of up in the air, and I talked about early control point. It is unlike any other map type in this game, so maybe that was just simply not Fresno's best map type. Now they're trying to take it all the way down to the wire. An early fight, Silent relying on the Widow, high risk, high reward. Gotta find these picks, but if you're not, your team's forced into a 5v6, so Silent really needs to pick up any kind of damage. Instead, we almost saw Grim Reaper, the first one to fall, just barely able to make it out with his life, and Lasker 2 on the Baptiste, I think, making a huge difference. Amplification Matrix, probably the strongest ultimate, or probably the strongest ability in the game.
Strongest ultimate in the game, indeed. That'd be crazy. No, but definitely one of the strongest abilities, and it is going to get wasted as they're trying to fight on point. Not sure if we're going to be able to take this, because we are going to see KCV pick out Silent. You don't see the the Widow.
A charge. Yeah, that was a very risky move from Grim. If he missed that, he would have just been asking to die there, but he was able to pick up the kill onto Flare, not the kill with the damage onto Flower, and now the Amp Matrix coming out on the side of Vex is going to be able to force back the side. A triple shatter comes through, but you've got to wonder why that comes out there. You know nobody can follow up. You know nobody can push into that Amp Matrix, and KCV finds Biowolf as well, almost single-handedly just ensuring that Carroll cannot push on the first point.
Yeah, it looks like Grim was really just trying to play adaptively there and try to find the chance for a shatter rather than thinking about the team's positioning behind him and being ready for the shatter. Especially with Silent getting picked, all they had was KTM at the moment. And I believe he was sitting more in the back line. We are going to see Flower try to give a shatter of his own, but it is going to get blocked. You know, it's not going to get blocked. That massive ult coming out from KCV, the Death Blossom blooming on point.
Yeah, absolutely. And that Death Blossom, like you said, blooming on point. Cherry able to find Silent in 0.0% on point there. So not even, I mean, hardly gets to touch from the side of Carroll. And I made this joke earlier, Nuclear, when Unicorn and Infernosis were stuck in cast or purgatory of a 6-hour broadcast. But a draw is unfortunately likely here. I mean, not only unfortunate for these teams, but, you know, we want to see one of these teams come out victorious. We want to see one of these teams win. And to go through everything here on Kings Row just to end in a draw would be so unfortunate.
I don't think it's going to. I think that Fresno is going to be able to clutch us out. I think that
2 minutes.
They have 2 minutes. We did see Carroll. They weren't able to do it in 1:30, you know, but I think that I think if Cherry's able to get the picks that we've seen, and KCV's able to get in their backline, it's over. They're gonna get points.
Yeah, I agree. KCV, we saw. I mean, that's how they stopped. That's how they stopped the offense, right? Now they've got to do the same thing on the offense of their own. Is get in that back line, take Silent out, take McCree out, take out maybe one of the tanks if you're lucky, but unfortunately not going to be able to get things lined up that easy. KCV, one good teleport cracks this point wide open.
And 100%, you can tell just by watching these players that these DPS are used to playing at 2 p.m. because the shots are crisp. I love hearing the tinks, just the tinks. And Cherry was getting a couple of very sick headshots on Silence Widowmaker, like long range, and doing it well.
Yeah, we saw that a few times.
Like smooth like butter. But what's also going to be smooth like butter is push. Ooh, they did bait out the Maywall, and
that's
opted to
crucial.
not get put out.
Yeah, that's crucial. That Maywall was kind of the saving grace, so to speak, here on the side of Carroll. And on the Fresno, they baited it perfectly. Grim already gone. The Maywall comes out, but it's going to be enough to save the day. Buys you time for the res, but now you've got to get these numbers figured out. Flower falls incredibly low, and the damage coming out on both sides needs to be, of course, that top-tier value. Still 1:30 on the clock, and who did we say at the beginning of this? KCV, the very man to find that first kill on a Silence Secure, a 5v6, and Grim does pick up one. Bio finds another. KTM finds Flower, and just when you thought that Fresno was going to be able to take it, Carroll comes back to life, and slowly but surely they stall this first attempt.
Yeah, but we did see some picks come out. Notably, Nighteye took out Laskardu. So if they are able to regroup,
if they can rush this, oh, never mind.
Oh, the res does come out. That was a fantastic res from Bittervet, and truly might have saved this point. They do have a minute left on the clock, and Fresno is looking to strap on tires. It's kicking into gear.
Yeah, we see them getting a little bit too overzealous there. The Reinhardt going to be charging right through. Fresno is able to keep their Rhine alive, but if we saw some capitalization a little bit more from the side of Carroll, they could have found that Rhine and kept themselves alive at this tie. 43 seconds left. You've got a High Noon, you've got an Ant Matrix, and what ults go better together than that? I mean, this is going to be a lot of damage very quickly, and a great wall from Silent keeps it alive. The Flower Ghost already able to find Laskardu once again. Then Ana's gone. No kills coming through with the High Noon quite yet. A grab now coming out from Biowolf, desperate to stay alive, and now a High Noon from KTM is going to be taken offline right away by Cherry. One McCree dismisses another, and Bittervet isn't get the rest through. Oh, it's KCV with the ULT all over again. He finds a triple kill, and it is this Reaper all day long. Kings Row being handed to Fresno.
Wow, I honestly did not think Fresno was going to take it until KCV came in the backline and ulted. It was so back and forth.
I thought it was a draw.
I thought it was going to be a draw too. I thought they were going to be able to clear them off just in time to be able to hold, but Carroll just not really sure how to deal with the cherry on top of the sundae that is Fresno State right in front of them.
Right, yeah, no, that was, golly gee, that was, that got a little bit unnerving there, excuse me. Now it's going to be kind of a little bit of value coming out. I believe it's tied up 1-1.
Yep, it is now tied up 1-1. Carroll winning the first map on Control, and Fresno winning Kings Row. So,
whoa, okay, hold on. KCV, 14 Death Blossom kills, only 5 Death Blossoms. I just want to point that out. I had the card in front of me. That is a sight to behold.
Massive. It's huge.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, the DPS line from Fresno State does not mess around, and they are here to play. They're here to win. They want this bad. And it's not like, we keep saying this, and I cannot stress this enough. Both teams are playing out of their minds right now.
No doubt.
Silent and KTM are doing amazing. It sounds to me like we're gonna quickly run over to the panel. It sounds like here very, very soon we're gonna run over to the panel. But as I was saying, all of the DPS line just really popping through, and the tank lines are really what's determining these fights. Whenever the Rhine goes down, the other Rhine is shattering every time.
Yep. I mean, we even saw a couple of what I would call lucky shatters coming out there. Some shatters that should not have hit, that should not have connected. But we can talk about that a little bit more in the future. We're going to throw it over to the panel. It's going to be JVR and Jim Lowry. So we'll see you guys in a bit.
And there we have the first two maps here of match number 4. I would say this evening, but it's now this morning. And we have a 1-1 scoreline between Fresno State and Carroll University. Almost a draw there on map 2, Jacob, which would have just driven us to an extra map. This late in the day, was there anyone other than me hoping for a draw there?
Yeah, I think Carroll would draw, right?
It was so close. They were so close to it.
Yeah, they were, and a good bounce back there by Fresno. Obviously, after Carroll came out, they really took the initiative early on. They were ready to go, and kudos to them. I mean, they were prepared. You know, when you get off kilter, get off schedule a little bit, they were ready to go. So good work by them, and then a nice answer by our top seed, taking that second map, a really close map, obviously. Another, even showdown, and kudos to our crew. Kudos to everybody still grinding here, and kudos to our Twitch community, man. This is awesome tonight. We're trending in some different levels, and we got some good metrics, we got some good numbers, but the Twitch has been popping off tonight. We thank everybody for staying up with us and having a blast.
What I'm seeing right now is 120 viewers still with us here. Even if you're on the West Coast, it's midnight. It's a school night. What are you all doing? Speaking of what are people doing, we're going to have Carroll Fresno State here. What are they doing? This is a great matchup here. I mean, this is what we wanted it to be.
It's amazing, right? I mean, every single one of these championships has basically been a classic. I mean, even the ones that have been one-sided by and large have been really competitive. I mean, you go back to games that we've had that were 4-1 or 3-1 or 3-0 or something like that. They've all been extremely competitive, and there hasn't been any roll fests really since probably some of our Rocket League championships, which seemed like they were about a month ago at this point. But since then, Overwatch and Valorant have been ultra competitive. It's they're long nights, but it's a great watch. It's great to see, and the best thing about it, Jim, is that people are playing at a ridiculously high level. I mean, by and large, you're seeing very few mistakes. People playing their best on the biggest stage. That's all you can ask for.
Wait, Jacob, are you telling me the Rocket League finals weren't a month ago?
I don't think so. Well, is it May yet? No, not quite.
It's not quite. Not quite. We're close. We're close.
I think this weekend.
Mr. Producer, how much longer we got? 2 minutes. Oh my God. 2 minutes. Jacob, what are you drinking?
Coffee.
Sure.
I brewed
a likely story.
Jim,
a likely story.
Jim, it is 3 o'clock where I live. You live in the Central. We've established this. It's 2 o'clock where you live. I have usually been asleep for about 5 hours by now. The staff laughs at me because I am out at like 10 o'clock, and then I wake up to like 200 Discord messages. And I'm bothering them. I'm going after them. I'm sending them message at 7 o'clock in the morning, and I know they're not going to see it for 5 hours. That's how we work. This is crazy.
It's hey, but we're all pulling the boat together, right? We got to row the boat. We're all in this boat.
Awesome.
We're all in the boat together. I still don't believe that's coffee. Twitch chat, go ahead and throw down what you think we got in Jacob's cup there. It's definitely not Folgers. It's definitely not Folgers. The best part of waking up is whatever Jacob's got in his cup. That's for sure. So, no, but shout out to everybody tonight. Everybody's been great. Infernosis and Unicorn, I think, were on the air doing casting for about 12 days. About 12 days, according to my producer. And the two of them, they had to get doubles standing in for map 3 of match number 2. They both went out and took a smoke break. Their doubles did a great job as well. You couldn't even tell. The voice doubles for Infernosis and Unicorn are tremendous. And then tonight, we got Septilins and we got Nuclear.
By the way, kudos to Chase, bringing the energy. He's the best. That guy. I love watching him. I mean, he's got more energy. It's 2:00 in the morning where he is. He's got more energy. It's like he just woke up. God bless him.
I tell you what, Jacob, he is the second best esports coach in the state of Iowa. That's a fact right there. That's an absolute fact. And you can ask him who the best one is. He'll know the answer. Alrighty. But no, so we're I didn't even hear what Caleb said. We're having a good time here. I think he said I could throw it back to them in the casting booth. Use words, Caleb, not guttural noises.
Yes.
He's saying yes.
I got Fresno in the third match.
You got Fresno, Jake? Okay, that's cool because I'm gonna take Carroll, but I'm not gonna take them till the very end. I got Carroll winning this in 7, and we're gonna be here till 5 a.m. again.
Perfect. I love it.
All right, we're going back. Map number 3 coming up right now.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back. As you kind of probably already know, it is 1-1 right now. We're going to be jumping into what I believe is Temple of Anubis, and I'm very excited to see this because as a Junkrat player, I absolutely adore this map.
You said as a what?
As a Junkrat player? Oh, okay. All right. You got me. I get flack for that every day of the week. I absolutely love playing Junkrat. He's my main man across the board. It is absolutely fantastic. I hope we see it. Maybe we do, maybe we don't, but I'd really like to see some Junkrat gameplay here. And honestly, I feel like we're probably just going to see Brawl over and over and over.
I would have to agree with you. And you know what? I'm not mad that you play Junkrat. That's fine.
Are you just disappointed?
No, because I'm also a Junkrat DPS main when I'm not maining Hanzo.
Yes.
So, I feel you. I was just throwing up in camaraderie.
Of course.
The classic phrase. As we're going into Temple of Anubis, I can see it because Junkrat's very popular on this map. You have a lot of high ground opportunity and a lot of close quarters to really flush people out of those areas. Now, looking at the defense and offense, I think you're 100% correct. I think we're going to see Brawl comp, and it looks like Fresno's going to prove me wrong. Both teams. We're not seeing a Rhine or a Zarya on either side.
Both teams are they are going for what I'm going to what is the phrase I used earlier? Interesting team comps coming out here. This is definitely not something I'd expect to see. I think Sigma Roadhog on defense, I think that makes more sense than Diva Wrecking Ball on offense. That is something I'm not necessarily a huge fan of going into this.
Somewhat. Yeah. We literally we're just getting this in and 100% correct from Caleb on production. We have a dive comp versus a spam comp. So we're going to see who's going to be able to pick the targets.
Here we go. Okay, this feels better.
Spam comp isn't going to work very well against a dive comp, though. I mean, it's meant mainly for the Reinhardt. Get the Reinhardt, shield down, attack the team. Don't know if it's going to work against the dive if they're able to get in and out as fast as
I mean, they almost found Biowolf right away. They're instead going to be able to pick up Silent. I think this is going to come down a little bit more to, first of all, we're going to be seeing a swap from the side of Carroll, but if they're not, it's going to come down to how well Grim Reaper can utilize that defense matrix. That's going to be the only defense they have against these aggressive, that spammage we talked about coming through. KCV is going to find a kill, but it may already be too late. Grim Reaper cannot make it up onto the high ground. Will be punished by Flower. Their Biowolf goes in deep for the kill. We're going to get slept up on the high ground. The follow-up coming through, the triple attack, the Bionade as well, and Biowolf will be kissed goodbye back to spawn.
Unfortunately, Biowolf and Grim did not tackle the same target. They really did not focus the same area, and you need that with this comp. I don't know how I feel about this comp without a Lucio or without a DPS line that's going to be able to get in. I don't know how well it's going to work with... Almost
KCV
going
down to 48 health there. That was dangerous for him. I think that was going to be a little bit of value coming out on the side of Carroll, but no, he's able to survive. The Discord Orb cannot do enough, and some great support line coming out from Fresno, able to keep it alive. Carroll now, we're going to lose that mech very early on. Grim Reaper going to be forced into that baby Devo. Silent picks KCV up right off the back of it. A much more effective kill coming through.
Yeah, I don't know if the D.Va's working. I don't know if
I agree.
That's the second time he's gotten demec'd, and Cherry is going to be able to find something on Silent, which could be the push that Fresno State needs to get on point here.
Absolutely, we need to see any kind of similarity in dive difference between Grim Reaper and Beowulf. They're diving in together, and then they immediately split onto 2 different targets. They're not focusing one person. They go in at the same time, and then they usually die at the same time. And that's kind of all we've seen. Now, they've farmed these ultimates. They've burned half their time bank, but they are danger close to 6 ultimates online. Well, the problem is when you play like this, you're about to be pushing into 6 ultimates as well.
Both teams, and that means we're about to have a lot to talk about. Grim Reaper looking to get something on point, and he is going to take out 9-9. Time to go to bed. It's time. And Beowulf looking to get something on point, but he's going to get picked by Flower of Ghost before he's able to get his ult out. Grim Reaper finding something on KCB, and we are going to see the Transcendence pop from Laskerdu, trying to get something on point. The sleep coming out from Vex.
Oh my goodness! The supports right now just carrying the fight. Vex and Backpack both right now able to find 2. Now, not exactly a kill, but a sleep dart and a crucial kill. Bittervet going to be diving in, possibly going for the res, but going to be caught out by a little bit of damage. Going to get in the Winston bubble just long enough to find the res onto Silent, and the res very well may have done it, but never mind. KCB, the nail in the coffin there. Silent finds a kill, but Beowulf, Mythic Flux taking out Night once again, falling asleep on point. KCB taken out by KTM. Slowly but surely, 3 minutes in, we see Carroll cap first point at Temple of Anubis.
Battle of the Ks, and KTM is showing that he's not here to lie over. He's here to prove that he is the true K acronym here at the NECC, and we're gonna see we're gonna see him push on to the second point. They're gonna take that first point with only a couple minutes left, and we're now gonna see 3 minutes and 40 seconds on the shot clock.
Yeah, it's going to be 3 minutes and 40 seconds. That is enough time to get some business done, but you've got 1 ultimate to work with, going to be that Valkyrie, the D.Va Bomb online for Grim Reaper, just seconds away. And it looks like B full committing in to find it, now only at 96. Beowulf and KTM almost paying the price of their lives, but Bittervet going to be the first to fall. KTM not far behind. Vexwrath on a Zenyatta of their own. Those Discord orbs, they hit a lot harder than a lot of people give them credit for.
Yep, and I'm telling you, it's like I've been saying since the beginning of the set. The support line from Fresno State does not mess around. Vexwrath and Backpack both getting the picks that we're seeing on Temple of Anubis. It took them 2 maps to really kick into gear, but here they are, and they're coming out swinging.
Coming out swinging indeed. Also, I want to
literally now.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I was just about to say that. I of course want to draw attention to the fact that Reinhardt is coming out in full swing here. Fresno, they've got that Reinhardt ready, and it's going to be a lot easier to block these D.Va bombs. Maybe I'll eat my words right here on stream. Now the immortality field from Backpack going to be able to keep the team alive. Beowulf taking some damage from Flower, and Flower smart enough not to chase an enemy as mobile as that Winston. Silent now flanking in the back line. Silent as a ghost goes for the fan. Only has 1 bullet in the chamber, but still able to pick up Cherry. Pays the price of his life to do so. Backpack will be the next to fall, taken out by Beowulf. And you fall into the trap, you will be killed. KTM finds KCD in the back line slowly but surely. Carroll, they are tearing this team apart. It looks like they may be able to cap with just over 2 minutes on the clock. Cherry now might be able to touch, but instead chooses to blink backward. Going to be caught out. The rip tire from KCB. A bit of a move of desperation here to keep the point alive. Able to do just that. Clears things up for a moment. The single tire onto Laskerdu. Going to get rid of that Zenyatta. Take that Transcendence away from even getting close to ready. KTM picks up 1. KCB finds another. Bittervet goes for the res, and Carroll, they are almost back in full swing. Silent finds 2 once again, and this McCree just making a world of difference in this elongated fight. KTM now looking for 2 of his own, able to find it. Grim Reaper finds Backpack, 1:49 on the clock, and Carroll, they've capped both points of the Anubis.
And that was all of their ults, and I hope that you took a breath.
I don't think I did. If I stop talking, I may fall asleep. It is 3:15 in the morning.
Just kept going and kept going and kept going and kept going. And I was like, and
just, famous for my run-on sentences. Let me tell you what.
Things just kept happening, and what was crazy about that was all the ultimates had been used at that point. Right. Once the D.Va Bomb came out at the very end, or was about to come out at the very end. Excuse me. That was it. That was the last ultimate. So if they were able to hold, if Fresno was able to stay and get back on point, they might have been able to hold it. But it was 5 ultimates v 5 ultimates in that last fight, and it is a matter of how much effectiveness and value you can get off of those ultimates that are really going to determine whether or not you're going to be able to take the point. And now, flopping sides, switching it up a little bit, we are going to see Flower of Ghost switch over to the Wrecking Ball. Nine-Night's going to switch over to the Sigma. It's what they started on the last map, and it looks like they're going to try it on attack.
Yeah, definitely going to be fascinating here on the attack. And we see Cherry and KCB, they're kind of going for that aerial gameplay, that Echo and that Pharah. They're going to get a little bit of a run for their money. Not only is there a double hit scan on the other side, that McCree Widowmaker, also the Ana, Laskerdu, and the Diva of Grim Reaper. So I wouldn't be surprised to see them bring out these aerial fighters and then maybe go back and swap.
I think that's the play. That's what they've been doing. It's like every time they're not sure what to play, it's immediately like smack it on the table, hit the GG button, Ryan Zarya.
Yeah, no, we talked about that during the break as well. It's just kind of, not sure what to do. Boom, Ryan Zarya. But now, Vexarath already able to find Silent. That could be a huge, crucial kill here. That Widowmaker taken offline. KCV, instead of going for the Mega, they're going to get right back into the fight and rely on that Mercy to keep them alive. To get healed right back up. Silent has to swap on that Tracer to return. Another hit scan player coming out soon. It's going to come down to that first blood again. Currently a 5v6, but Fresno, they're not really pushing in because of it. They're taking their time, looking for maybe one more elimination.
Yeah, and having Silent now off of the Widowmaker, that's going to allow KCB to flex his wings and fly high. So looking to take point. Nine is going to take out KTM, and Biowolf is going to return the favor on Nine.
Yeah, absolutely. A 2-for-2 trade coming through. KCB finds Laskerdu at the very kind of brink of the fight, and slowly but surely Fresno's getting the numbers. They just need to keep themselves, and in particular this Pharah, alive, because she is making a huge difference in the mix-up. Biowolf finds Backpack, and all of a sudden keeping that Pharah alive becomes so much harder. Silent with the melee kill onto KCB. There's some great value coming out, and all of a sudden, slowly but surely, Fresno will fall. A fight that looked so convincing for them just ripped away.
One of the massive points that was a huge takeaway, and watching Carroll's previous match a couple weeks ago with you, was their ability to play around 2 or 3 players.
Yes.
You know, it's like, okay, we have Cherry, we have Vexarath, and we have Flower online. That's all we need. We need one of each character. We can hold this point, and we're seeing that now on Temple of Anubis.
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly what we're going to be seeing on Temple of Anubis here. That's exactly what they're going to be looking for moving forward, is who's able to play on those individual players, who can we keep alive. KTM just going to be able to find that KCB bullied in the air. There's some great push coming out from Grim Reaper, able to force that Pharah right into the line of fire. A lot of ultimates on the side of Carroll that they really don't have to use. They're winning these fights so convincingly.
Oh, and yeah, Carroll... 100%. I mean, Carroll is getting a leg and taking a mile every time. As soon as they get a pick, their dive pushes into the back line. And it's like half the team's dead, and they make the rest of the team stagger. And it's a convincing performance, as now we're seeing with a minute and 45 left on the clock, Fresno State's switching up their comp. And look at those ult charges, 5-3, 5-5.
Yeah.
And then you look over at Carroll, and they have 4 ults online.
Yeah, 4 crucial ults as well. They've got the Nano, the Primal, the Bomb, and the Zenyatta coming through here. That is going to be a bit of a disaster. However, Vex with that Transcendence, able to find a kill right away on the last bit. The Nano boost did make its way out, and Grim Reaper picks up backpack of support down on both sides. Carroll now going to be committing that Biowolf's ultimate coming through, and all of a sudden it's going to be Biowolf right back in the swing of things. That Primal Rage does not get lined up in time. It's still Grim Reaper just making all the difference. These two taking turns on the Diva, just ripping team fights apart.
100%. We just saw Biowolf dive Vex as he was a sitting duck on Zenyatta, not able to do much against a Winston. And that's where KCB can find the value in turning around and, you know, saving the support. But Vex, we're going to see him play BAP now, and his BAP is
so late
because he's got the aim.
That could be huge. Like you said, he's got the aim. He can be that 3rd DPS if needed. And Grim Reaper's Bomb only going to be able to find Vexarath's immortality field. Biowolf will fall to that Fire Strike coming out from Flower and Night. I mean, you're not going to be getting this grab anytime soon. You've only got 30 seconds left on the clock. You're going to have to find some serious damage, but they might not even need the grab, as Fresno is able to find 2 in the lineup. Both Silent and Grim Reaper fall slowly but surely. Looks like they may have been able to do this.
It looks like Carroll's going to back up, so I think you're right. You know, Fresno's just going to set up shop, post a tent, and say, this is our point. Time to move on to the next campsite.
Oh, and now capping with more time. You're looking at the clock, 3 minutes, but Temple of Anubis, 2nd point. This is a tough one to cap. This is not an easy fight. You've got to be looking for that early elimination. You've got to be looking for ultimates to push in with, and they've got a couple. They just got to make them work. Silent is going to miss that pulse pump, another ultimate down the drain on the side of Carroll. Biowolf taking a lot of damage early on, but just no follow-up coming out from Fresno quite yet. The shield getting ripped up, and oh my goodness, the triple Earth Shatter into the triple Death Blossom, making a quadruple. KCB with the Death Blossom opening up on point, finding 5 in total. Just like that, they may have capped with more time on the clock.
Just when we thought Flower was just laying blank seeds. We saw the death blossom from underneath, and KCB capitalized on the situation, but Carroll is not going to give up without a fight, and we are going to see the Transcendence pop out on point. We're going to see the beat in return, and High Noons coming out from either side from KTM and Cherry. Who are they going to find?
Yeah, only able to find Night there, and I got to point this out, KCB already 80% to another Death Blossom. Doesn't even need it, but Mike, that is incredible. I mean, we see them cap 2 minutes and 11 seconds. They have a little bit more time on the clock than Carroll, but he almost had another Death Blossom. He was 20% away from another one in what could have only been 25 seconds.
It was a very short amount of time. He stayed on it. It was like he got the Death Blossom, he stayed in the back line, and he kept bullying the tanks as they were trying to come back to point, and whoever was
That's
there.
what Reaper's all about.
Yeah, that's what you have to do as Reaper. That's how you find your value. And I am surprised. I got to touch on that again. Flower of Ghost.
Yes.
Hitting that massive shatter and hitting 4 and then dying immediately. And I'm watching like, that's a failed push. KCV coming out of nowhere from downtown even, the Death Blossom coming through and finding 5 really secured and clutched that point for Carroll University, or sorry, Fresno State University.
Yeah, KCB, I mean, his Uber pulled up at the right time. He just got there from downtown at the best possible moment.
Sorry, for Fresno State. That was for Fresno State. Getting swapped around. We're switching a lot of colors, and it's like...
Hey, #1 perk of being colorblind. Does not matter what the colors are for the series. I'm just going off of names.
Right. So, almost 2 minutes on the bank for both teams. It's going to come down to the defense. It's going to come down to the points, and I think it may come down to first point.
This is interesting because 211 to 149 feels so crucial. Realistically, that's only 20 seconds, right? That's not even a push. That's not even a fight. That's maybe a little bit of stalling out one of your beginning fights. Now, Biowolf and Grim going for that dive comp that eventually worked, and this time it looks like it may be able to. Biowolf and Lashker, you are able to find 2 kills, but Biowolf almost dying in the process, just able to fall down with his life. They found 2 crucial kills to Ryan and the Lucio. You've got to be pushing in like you need this fight like you need your next breath, but KCP already able to find Biowolf, takes that Winston offline, and as long as that Reaper is alive, this fight may become impossible.
Wow. Yeah, because he is slaying the tank line. We even saw Grim drop below 100 health with KCV on him, and that's given Fresno the time to regroup, get on top again, and post up.
Yeah, I've got to say it. Things are looking grim for Grim. I mean, he just cannot get himself up over that wall. He's just constantly, every time he's up less than 100 health, has to drop right back down. And Biowolf doesn't exactly have that same blessing. He's jumping and falling to 100 health and sometimes even dying for it. Now trying to get in the line of sight of those supports, but diving that top support, that Baptiste on the high ground, Vexarath is not going to be able to get the magic done quite yet. Biowolf, will fall once again. KCV's taken offline, but it may already be too late. That Reaper has fallen, but you're missing your Winston now. Vexarath taken out as well. Silent, desperately trying to keep the team alive. 30 seconds left. I mean, they need to win this fight. They either need to die and get out right now, or they've got to win this one. They are out of time. Cherry desperate to find a kill, able to find Bitter Vet slowly but surely. I mean, it's desperate to make this happen. Vexarath walking back from spawn. Cherry finds 2. Grim finds Backpack, and it's going to have a lot of ultimates online for Carroll, but the respawn's just coming through for Fresno. This has to be that now or never moment. KCV returns to the fight. Laskerdu says not today, and it looks like they may have done it, able to cap first point in overtime.
Yeah, and what a cap indeed from Carroll. Honestly, I saw KCV trying to get the high ground and drop in with the Death Blossom to really clutch it out. He wasn't really given the time of day, though, as Laskerdu threw the Discord on him, popped a headshot, and said that's all she wrote.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of all she wrote, 4, nearly 5 ultimates to move into point 2 here. This is going to be a bit aggressive coming out, but you're looking down the barrel of 4 ultimates coming out on the side of Fresno. This is going to be kind of that 1-to-1 lineup, and now we have to see who's able to get a little bit more utilization with these ultimates. Grim Reaper in particular, this bomb has to be a big one. With Immortality Field online, you can only assume it will not be. Like we see that, that Transcendence coming out as well. Flower of Ghost will fall. Cherry is able to find Silence, the main tank, now missing on the side of Fresno, and Biowolf desperate to knock people off. Point KCV goes for a Death Blossom, not going to find much. A great eat from Grim Reaper. He will lose that mech thanks to Backpack coming up from above. 1 kill, 2 kills, slowly but surely. Fresno, they are able to find the eliminations when they matter most, and not even a single % online for this second point in Carroll's favor.
And they had the Earth Shatter and the High Noon and the Grav on Bank. That's all she wrote. I mean, Fresno's ult economy, we were talking about it earlier. Fresno's ult economy is fantastic. And even when we saw them get that massive switch in the last round, when they switched off of all of their characters, they had all of their ults up for the second point, which really allowed them to push into that second point. So seeing them be able to hold that on defense, no surprise to me, is we're now looking them pushing on offense. I'm interested to see if they decide to go with that comp that they ran last time, that Sigma, what was it, Sigma Ball?
Yeah.
Maybe they get a pick off of that, maybe not, but KCV, if he keeps adding value, taking being the tank buster he is, and making Grim and Biowolf really not ignore him and focus him, this may be it for Fresno. I mean, we're seeing we're seeing the picks come out from Silent, right? We're seeing the picks come out from KTM, but it's not to the degree that we're seeing Cherry pick the healers, right?
Yep.
Cherry is constantly on Laskardu, constantly on Bittervet.
Laskardu's hardly gotten to play Anubis at all. It's been so brutal for Laskardu. I mean, every time he's out of spawn, literally every time he's out of spawn, he's alive for maybe 5, maybe 10 seconds of the fight. Gone. He's almost the first one gone every time.
Yeah, and that's showing this level of Overwatch, right? Take the healers out and just brawl, fight it out.
Yeah, and speaking of brawl, it's exactly what we're going to get here. Going to be moving in hyper-aggressive. 2 minutes and 11 seconds in Nuclear. I hate to say it, but they did not cap even a single tick of that second point. There is a draw in the books here. It is unfortunately likely moving into this, but only time will tell. They've got 2 minutes to make the magic happen. Silent, with an early, rather confusing wall, actually gives them the opportunity to move in up and around the high ground. They're going to be able to go up Fresno. They've got a great high ground advantage with a McCree. I mean, that's exactly what you want. Now it's going to be all about moving in. Biowolf able to find Vex. That is a crucial kill here. Cherry finds Laskardu again. Laskardu the first to fall on the side of Carroll, but it looks like it's not going to be enough quite yet. Able to find Silent. KTM gone as well. There's the Diva mech. It looks like this is going to be able to be cracked wide open here on the side of Fresno. Biowolf, however, trying to go down with a fight. He's able to find Night Knight, able to find Backpack, possibly able to find KCP as well. This Reaper in critical condition, going to be caught out. Bittervet with the headshot. That's what he thought Fresno would take it. Biowolf saves the day.
Carroll is definitely holding that, and we saw as Cherry was on the high ground. You know, he immediately took out Laskardu, and in fashion turned to Bittervet immediately. As we said, I don't know if you want to call that Caster's curse, Caster's prediction, but that's exactly what we saw.
I like to call it a Caster blessing when it goes well.
Blessing.
You're welcome, right? We are the casters, we are the callers of this game, and you're welcome for that great idea. Even though there's a 3-minute delay and you're not watching the stream. But anyway, Flower of Ghost now able to find 1, able to find 2 with that Firestorm. Bittervet finds KCV, the Death Blossom. Probably the first unsuccessful Death Blossom we've seen so far from KCV. That was a mild to severe disaster, and now Flower of Ghost, so trying to keep this alive. Night Knight as well, running out of that solo bubble, doesn't have that ally bubble online. They might be able to call this back a 4v2. Missing the support though, this is going to be tough.
I think they're going
to. No.
Oh no, it was a great placement. Flower made sure it didn't hit the rest of the team. We're going to see the Earth Shatter come out, and we're going to hear the Diva Bomb being popped. See the Wrecking Ball in the backline that is actually gotten nanoed. I don't know if that was intentional or not. We're going to hear the second Hymen come out of the fight.
These ults.
All the ults coming out. Are they going to be able to take it?
That's gotta be. Yeah, that's gotta be it. They find this Zenyatta, they find the Diva, and guess what? They have 30 seconds. They have 1 attempt to do this. Guess what? They also have 0 ultimates.
Oh, Lord. You're right. Well,
I'm terrified.
Have 0 ultimates for the time being. 99 has 10 to grab. He's just got to get a couple, and he's got 80 charge. This very well could be it.
Yeah, they've got to watch. Oh, that's crucial. That's massive. The grab comes out. There's no easy sight. They go for the solo grab on the Lucio and KCP. Able to find that double kill. Grim losing that mech as well. And just when I thought a draw was going to be on the table, Laskardu, the sleep. KCP finally gets his comeuppance, but not quite enough. Laskardu not able to do it. And my goodness, my friends, there is not a draw so far. Fresno able to pick up their second point. They only need 2 more to win the series.
Yeah, and Fresno taking that second point convincingly. Like I said, I didn't have a question in my mind because the ult economy from this team is just top tier. That's what they needed. They knew going into this point they had to count on the grab. This is Death Blossom we saw earlier.
Incredible.
They clutched out the point the first time around.
Oh, actually, technical 6K there. So gets the assist onto Night Knight. So not a complete 6K, but wow, 18,633 damage done by KCV. 31% of what the team had to offer. This Reaper, I mean, every map we play, it's getting better, right? Do you feel that as well? That exponential growth.
Yeah, talking about Reaper though, Grim Reaper, 42 elims, 72% kill participation, and we were seeing him struggle against the Reaper. So. Imagine if KCV is pressured enough by Bittervet's Zen, you know, he's getting enough headshots, getting enough picks, getting those reads, and he has to switch off Reaper. You know, what does that mechanic look like? Does that mean that we're gonna see a very kind of unchained Grim Reaper, not needing to focus on KCV's Reaper, actual Reaper?
Yeah, I think maybe a Brigida. That's not going to be your most reliable option. You need a steady Brig, somebody that knows how to play it. So kind of just, play Brig to counter them. If you're not comfortable on it, that's not going to work. But if you have that pocket Brigida, that's going to be huge here. Not only do you interrupt those Death Blossoms, but you can constantly just whip shot him away from the back line. You can maybe keep your supports alive a little bit longer, because so far we have not seen the supports necessarily living very long on the side of Carroll. Laskerdew in particular, I said it already, nothing against Laskerdew. I don't think they're doing anything wrong. It's that KCV is doing everything right. Cherry as well. Every time that Ana shows her face, gone. Back to spawn.
Right, and we did see a couple of weeks ago, we saw Carroll run a very interesting comp where it was Ryan, Zarya. I can't remember what the DPS ran, but both supports ran Lucio Brig. Yep. So maybe they try to pull that out and just full force brawl. That is
I'd love to see it. I'd love to see it. I think that would be genius. Kind of like you said, that full sprawl, kind of that goats, if you will, kind of the closest you can get now in that 2-2-2 of having that Brig, Lucio, Ryan, Zarya as well. And, all you need is that Diva to call it a day. But Rialto coming up, one of my personal favorite maps, almost entirely because of the aesthetic. I think probably the prettiest map in the game. I think a lot of them are beautiful, but Rialto in particular holds a special place in my heart due to the beauty. And something in particular here is Rialto has a lot of opportunities for environmental kills, and Bitter Vet, something tells me he is itching to get some more.
Oh, I know he's itching to get some more. Bittervet has, since the first map when we saw him get a quad on Oasis,
right.
We know he's been waiting. He's been silently, the Tom and Jerry meme where he's rubbing his hands together. That's kind of how I imagine Bittervet sitting at his computer at 3:30 in the morning, waiting to take down Fresno's entire backline.
We saw him do it once. We know he's capable. It is something we absolutely need to be keeping an eye on. It looks like Carroll is going to be choosing to start on the offense, so Bittervet may not get that opportunity as early as they want. And what I'm going to be looking for here is how quickly can these teams cap first point of Rialto, because this is a map either you make it to first or you make it to third. Very rarely is the cart stopped anywhere in the middle, and I want to see if they can cap that first point. How much further is Carroll going to be able to take it?
And what's the defense looking like? Because I'm going to say it again. I feel like we're not really seeing any defensive strats from either of these teams.
I agree.
Full offense.
Everybody's offense is good. Yeah.
And that's what they're running. That's what, go with it if that's what you're good with. But that's what we just keep seeing. We keep seeing an offense be matched with another offense instead of a more of a defensive comp. So as we're getting into game, looks like we're going to see Biowolf back on the Diva. We're going to see Silent back on the Widowmaker. I know if Infernosis is asleep, but he'd be elated.
He'd be stoked.
He's a Widowmaker main and absolutely loves it. And we are going to see KTM on the Bastion.
Yeah, no, I'm hoping it's real. I'm hoping it's true. They are still in spawn. There's time for KTM to turn this around, but my goodness, do I hope this is going to be a Bastion strat coming out on Rialto. Honestly, not the worst map to do it. I don't think the comp makes a whole lot of sense, but I mean, the pirate ship, it is a classic we see on these escort maps, and of course, like I said, unfortunately, probably not going to be seeing it with that team comp. Instead, going for that double sniper, double hit scan scenario. Going to be KCV versus KTM all over again. These acronyms just going toe to toe, and we got that hysterical Widowmaker glitch there on Silent where he's ADS, but it doesn't quite lock in for the spectator. Slowly but surely, I mean, I feel Silent has, honestly, no offense to Silent, not had the best game on this Widowmaker so far, so we need to see some great eliminations coming through, and now he's already had a couple of opportunities and not been able to find them.
Well, it's different than ranked play, right? When you're playing in ranked play, you're able to play around your tanks a lot better, and you're able to coordinate. And when someone says there's a Widow, they're just going to make sure that you're not getting value on the Widow. Of course. They're just going to play line of sight. They have to.
Yeah, absolutely. And KTM, maybe going to have to pick up the slack a little bit there, able to hit these shots a little bit easier. That would have been bonkers, but KCV with the coach gun into the air, finding Silent with the headshot. That was a clippable moment from his point of view if I've ever seen one. KCV going to be able to do it again. Silent gets res and immediately sent back to the graveyard there, sent back to spawn. And so far, I mean, probably going to swap off the Widowmaker.
That has to go to a montage.
Oh no! Oh my!
Again!
The montage. Clip it, chat. Somebody clip it. I gotta say it. KCV is on fire right now. Only halfway to a bomb. Riddle me that. That is 3 headshot kills in a row, but somehow only halfway to this Robert coming through here. It's gonna be a lot of damage already. Grim Reaper almost taken offline. Fresno, they're playing great on the second corner defense.
Is this the NECC or is this KCVT's TV? Because
Oh, heyo!
I'm telling you, I'm thinking this is KCVTV. He's destroying it right now, getting KTM again.
All of a sudden, good morning. He took his nap. He is ready to play at 3:36 a.m. here on the East Coast. KCV has unlocked his 6th chakra and he is ready to go. Sorry, oh man, all right, I broke nuclear. He'll be back in a second. He'll be right with us, but KCV, I mean, just on fire. Okay, all right, we're giving him all these compliments, then he sends Bob down a corridor, down a hallway to do nothing, really. Silent gonna pop that 6-man ult coming out here with those sights. KTM is gonna get that vengeance kill onto Vex, and finally, Carroll may have found their footing to survive a fight. Not sure they're able to win this one quite yet.
Okay, yeah, true. I mean, he sent the Bob down the hallway because obviously he's got a smooth brain, right? He's hitting
naturally.
He's hitting all of the headshots. He's hitting all the flicks he needs. But when it comes to abilities, he doesn't know that. He only knows aim. He only knows aim and shoot. Left click, left click.
No think, just aim. Absolutely. That is exactly where KCV is right now. And a grab coming up early, but I like it from BioWolf trying to engage in the fight early on. KCV able to find KTM again just all day long. The grab looks like it may not be able to find the value that Carroll was looking for, but it opened up a little bit of space. And now blocking the shatter from Grim Reaper. And Flower is going to be blocked as well. No ult coming out really to fruition. Yet another Bob. Now this one on the side of Carroll going to be coming out here for KTM. Unable to find anything quite yet. And Fresno, they're going to lose that shield. Desperate to keep this cart alive. They want to stall here on first. Like I said, you know, either that first point or that third point, and Night going to be hitting, what is it, a 4-man grab, able to clean up the kills afterwards. Silent finds Flower of Ghost, but it may already be too late, especially with KCB still alive. Oh, never mind!
No
KCB is not alive, but KTM is also not alive. KTM said, you know, I think I'm done. I think I'm just...
Take a break. Reset.
Take a
reset.
Jumping off. Yeah, and I think what we're actually seeing right now, Subtilence, is it's not necessarily that Flower's not doing enough or Grimm's not doing enough, Tank Lines aren't doing enough. I think they're even. I think what we're seeing is just so close. It's coming down to what DPS are able to get the picks first.
Yeah, absolutely. KCV now, yeah, okay, with another Bob. This one feels a lot faster than that first one, which is quite an interesting thing, as he was doing much better kind of at the beginning of this game. Still doing pretty decent now. Cherry with the high noon, able to find BioWolf, immediately going to be traded out for Silent onto KCV Gaming, since it's going to be some great value coming through on both sides. The off-tank traded for that main damage dealer so far. Silent picks up Backpack, the Widowmaker. I made a comment earlier, not the best Widowmaker gameplay so far from Silent, but now able to find some value trading their life for it. Dying for the cause. Grim Reaper picks up Flower of Ghost, and we just see Vexwrath commit this Amp Matrix, desperate to keep this point alive before this cart can cap first. The res, no way that actually comes through. Okay, gonna be booped away. KTM sending that Bob deep into the back line, trying to catch Fresno out of spawn.
Is that Bob gonna be enough though? It is pretty far back there, and it's not getting on point, which is where they need it right now.
Oh, Laskardu! Laskardu!
Power, get there in time, and Laskardu is taking it out, taking heads. Wow.
Yeah, Laskardu did it, but could not do enough there. Flower able to find 2 of their own. Will finally fall the Grim Reaper. Is that gonna be enough? It's gonna be all about this Zarya staying alive, and nearly a minute into overtime, Carroll gets to reset their clock and keep moving into Rialto.
I need to wipe the sweat off my forehead right now because I thought that they were holding them there, and I thought your prediction was almost right, Subtilence. I thought this was going to be a first point hold.
You know, I definitely think it's, like I said, it's definitely possible, and now that they've made it through this first point, I kind of am going to be that firm believer of what I said at the beginning of Rialto. Now they take it all the way to third. Very rarely do we see a cart get stalled here in this streets phase of Rialto, and a lot of other maps, I will say the complete opposite, where usually carts do get stalled right about here, but Rialto in particular, if you can make it around this first corner after the bridge, then usually you're pretty good to go all the way to that second point.
Yeah, there's just so many ways to engage someone. You have the main way, you can go around the right side, you can go top, you can go in the left hotel. There's just so many options to tackle it, and with the comps, Silent finding KCV immediately, but Cherry and Silent now going at it. Who's gonna get it? Ooh, Silent getting a body shot, almost a very close headshot from Cherry.
Oh, Cherry's still gonna be taken out by Grim Reaper here, and I'm not even sure if I cracked the joke, but I'll say it again. Silent but deadly there in the back line, able to find that kill straight away out of the ash, get things lined up, and BioWolf only sitting around 60 charge, but that is not gonna stop them from going as deep as possible into this back line, just desperate to find these supports. Vex almost had his head taken off, but will be able to survive into the fight, and BioWolf, where are you headed, bud? That is absolutely the wrong way. Gonna be taken out early on. KCV able to find that Lucio with the help of his good friend Bob. Picks up Grim Reaper as well, and Fresno once again found their footing. 60 seconds left on the clock.
With 60 seconds left as well, I feel like Fresno We've been praising them all night for their ultimate economy. I feel like they use too much there.
A bit of an overcommit. I agree.
They only have Cherry's ultimate coming back, while looking over at Carroll's side, they have Mines and they have Grav. And that Grav's going to be very deadly when Silent is posted up and shooting heads. Because they don't have a Ryan. There's nothing to defend.
Nothing to lock it up, like you said.
Sorry, they do have the Ryan, but if they pick the Ryan, it's over.
Yeah, absolutely. If they can find one pick out of the Ryan, that's going to be a fight winner of the century. BioWolf now looking for a good opportunity to grab. I was going to say, might send it deep onto Cart and able to do just that. However, Bitter Vet has already fallen. Grim Reaper trying to save the day, able to find not one, but two kill. Jumps over the Shatter. Okay, a bit of a flex coming out from Grim Reaper. They're going to be taken offline right after, and Silent has to be able to find the Soldier KTM on the legs. Might be able to get a kill, but no, going to be Coach Gun. What a shot. Only a body shot, but still going to find that kill. Carroll in overtime once again. Going to be rolling this into second point. There's enough time to recontest Night with that grab as well. Going to be booped off Cart, only 3 meters away, but all of a sudden this is going to be some great value. Going to have to give it up. A minute 30 left on the clock once again.
Bitter Vet really reaching for that boot, wanting to
get no doubt
off into the river, saying, get out of here, just enough. No, not enough. But Bitter Vet also now has the beat, and Laskardu has the field. So moving into this last point, we're going to see a lot of bumping from the supports on Carroll's side.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's exactly what we need to see is kind of that bumping, that aggression coming through. A Bitter Vet getting a little bit too aggressive. Lucio should never run into the hammer range of a Reinhardt. Not the best call from Bitter Vet there. Flower of Ghost taken out as well. KCB finds KTM, and Night picks up Laskardu. Silent immediately getting that revenge kill onto Vexarath. So a 4v4 if I've ever seen one. BioWolf going to be the next to fall in Fresno. They may be able to turn the footing again. Every inch this gets closer to that third point, Fresno's spawn advantage just gets better.
Yeah. Fresno is, that, like you said, that spawn advantage here, it's like we talked about earlier with King's Road. This is a very similar situation where the spawn is right in front of where they need the payload. So Carroll is looking for a wipe here, nothing short of a wipe. And
right.
They're 93 to grab, and they almost have Mines again, and that Mines grab combo worked well for him last time. But we are going to see a grab come out from Night and a response beat come out from Bitter Vet. We're hearing the McCree ult come out now. Cherry's going to find KTM, looking to push on point. 10 seconds left, and it's looking unsure for Carroll's future here on.
Yeah, it most certainly is. This is both teams have used a lot of ultimates, and it really hasn't even gone either way quite yet. It looks like it's going to be a bit of a fair 3v3. Silent on the Widowmaker, just a bad time to be on the Widowmaker. You need to be hitting every single headshot available, and Silent has not been able to do that quite yet. So Carroll now a Shatter coming out, able to find two, but Flower of Ghost immediately pays the price of their life. KCB going to be on that Reaper, dives into the back line. Death Blossom available. We've seen the damage that Death Blossom can do. Are they going to be able to do it again? And most certainly they are. KCB finds one, finds two, looking for three, and able to do just that. Picks up KTM, and just like that, Fresno, thanks to the help of their wonderful, friendly neighborhood Reaper, they rip Carroll apart and stall it right before that third point cap.
Hello again, and welcome back to the NECC, aka KCVT TV, and we're here proud to present to you the Reaper of the Century.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to make a joke here, like KCV is good, and then say no cap, because he's the reason they didn't cap. That feels like a low-hanging fruit, so I'm gonna give it up. I'm gonna choose to acknowledge it, but not quite crack the joke. So now I'm very curious to see if Fresno is gonna be able to respond with that same level of aggression. Their defense was super strong several times, but they lost one player, they lost one fight, they used one ultimate wrong, and they lost so many fights because of these micro mistakes.
And they got it so far. It was just at the knocking of the door on that third point. So now that we're swapping around, is it going to be reciprocated, or are they going to hold them at the first point?
Yeah, no, this is going to be fascinating because we've seen both these teams really shine so far. This has been a great opportunity. Of course, the score is going to be 2-1, but I see an opportunity to make this 2-2. There is a way to tie things up here.
I think that's where we're leaning towards. It's definitely feeling like it, right? And it's actually looking like we're going to see a couple of changes. Cherry's going to switch over to the Tracer.
It's going to be an interesting choice, but I think one that works out really well. Tracer can utilize that high ground a lot in this beginning phase. Toward the bridge, she kind of loses that a little bit, but she can get into that building and maybe get a little bit of damage here or there. It's going to be that Ryan Zarya versus Ryan Zarya. The McCree is no longer on both sides.
I feel as though it's the assumption that Silent is going to be running Widowmaker, though, and Silent's not running Widowmaker anymore. So I wonder if Cherry's going to continue to run the Tracer here, or make the swap. Maybe not. Maybe he's just
Whoa,
gonna...
that was so lucky. That was not that I think Cherry plays off of luck, but that clip, so many of those bullets hitting his head, and I am not completely sure why, but they got the job done, and now KCV in the back line going to be going for that Reaper 1v1, able to farm a lot of ult off of KTM, who does not get to say the same, and oh, he's bloodthirsty, he wants it. That's going to be the immortality field from Laskardu, completely to waste as the Reaper teleports out.
I wouldn't know if it was. I wouldn't say it was completely a waste because they were able to get the Reaper out. Now, if the Reaper died, okay. Well, if the Reaper just died because KCV died at the backline, what he does best, and now he's pushing the entirety of Carroll off as Fresno's just kind of moving through to this first point.
We've got to talk about it. We've got to talk about the fact that it took Carroll over 4 minutes to cap first point, and it took Fresno not even a minute. They just rolled through that first point. Yeah, this train has left the station, and it has not even come close to stopping quite yet. And Cherry on the Tracer may very well be a large reason for that. Not only that kill onto Silent right away, but just that nuisance in the back line so far, constantly forcing Carroll to turn their backs to the enemy.
Yeah, we constantly see the stagger coming out with Cherry and KCV now focusing on the backline. They've kind of realized, and I feel like Fresno's identified that those are the strong players tonight, so they're allowing them to
absolutely
flex it.
Yeah, Cherry's got the pulse bomb, but the question is how deep do you go to committed? Because if it doesn't stick, if you die for it, of course, none of it's going to be worth it. But Cherry now getting that high ground advantage. Flower of Ghost going to be able to get a little bit aggressive. A backpack instead. Going to be the first to fall to Shatter. Able to find 2, but 0 follow-up off of it. And Cherry with the double. Help to KCV Gaming. Able to find a triple. Firewolf finds KCV, but it may already be too late. Your main tank is gone. Your main support is gone. And the grab coming out from Firewolf. The high noon's got to be a big one. And it is the exact opposite. Able to secure 0 eliminations in the lineup. Now, Carroll, they've got the spawn advantage, but they no longer have the ultimate advantage.
Yeah, that came down to Flower holding up shield and running shield, and unfortunately it doesn't look like that's going to even make a difference. Is Carroll really pushed Fresno off of the point and said, nope, you got 1 meter, 1.3 meters left, you're not getting it the rest of the way.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this has been fascinating because not only did they lose that fight, but now we see an ultimate advantage in favor of Fresno. They've got nearly 4 minutes to push the cart, or like you said, 1 point something meters. I mean, they are one good fight away, one elimination away from being able to secure this fight and cap second point. And if they can do it in this fight, they could have close to a 5-minute time bank going into third.
They're going to. Cherry already has a pulse bomb again. If Cherry's able to survive here, yep.
Even 1 kill.
Yep. We have, 4 ults to 2. Unless KTM gets a lot of value, which he's going to get.
He certainly does. Yeah, that's going to be huge. Possibly not the best picks, but some pretty darn tootin' good ones there. He's able to find 2 eliminations. Yeah, and the ultimates are going to be taken out as well. KCB finds a kill onto Laskardu, but you need to bid the cart adieu, my friend. You got to go for that tactical reset. Night is gone. KCB feeding a little bit of ult charge there to Carroll, and just when I mentioned, they lost that ult advantage. They're very close to having it back.
Yeah, I am actually pretty amazed. We've seen KCV taking notes out of Grimm's book from 2 weeks ago and now has his ultimate back online in the sequential fight.
Right.
Looking at it now too, Cherry also has Tracer Bomb back online. Vexwrath and Backpack have both held their ultimates though, which is very interesting. I would have liked to have seen an ultimate come out on the last point when they were really looking to push that in.
I agree, and I think Backpack holding on to the ult makes a little bit of sense, probably for the grab, just like this proof, and then putting there with Vexwrath. That piece is one of the fastest charging ultimates in the game. You gotta think he'd be putting it out a little bit more often in KCV. No value. That is not something we've been seeing from him often tonight, but immediately Flower of Ghost taken out as well. Vexwrath's immortality field gone. 1 by 1, Carroll has just turned into cleanup crew here, as eventually they'll be able to eliminate all of Fresno from this fight. Over half the time bank has been burned. Fresno, they're starting to stare down the barrel of a defeat here on Rialto.
100%. Silent sat back and baited out the ultimate from KCV. I feel like whoever was shot calling the ultimates in that fight did an amazing job of recognizing that KCV was gonna have Death Blossom. And Silent stepped back, said, I'll hold it up. He high nooned as soon as he saw the Death Blossom come out. And once you're committed to doing it, you're stuck in that animation. You have to wait.
Right.
So KCV was just a sitting duck.
Yeah, KCV getting a little bit stuck there, like you said, a sitting duck kind of lined up in the crosshairs of that McCree aimbot, and KCV just got so unbelievably lucky. That should have been a death, but instead the flashbang gonna be able to keep him alive. And speaking of flashbang, Silent able to find KCV in the fight. Grim Reaper gets flashed as well, but not gonna be taken offline quite yet. Laskardu instead the first to fall on the side of Carroll, and Silent almost moved off the map, not gonna be taken out yet. There's the res onto Laskardu, Biowolf for the kill on the Backpack, and Silent desperate, just kill hungry as ever, but unable to find these kills. Also, I want to point out, has another high noon already.
Yeah, another high noon in the next fight. I feel like I'm seeing a lot of split target calling though.
Yeah, I agree.
While they were able to clean up there, Carroll was focusing 3 or 4 different targets. If they weren't able to get the picks in the beginning stages of that fight, Fresno had a very strong chance of coming back, and they still do. As we're looking, Flower now has Earth Shatter, and Nine is 85% to grab. And if it's anything like we've seen all night, Nine's gonna have that grab in no time. But then we switch scenes. We look over at Carroll. They have 4 ultimates online, and
nearly 6.
Nearly 6. Last Renew's almost there.
Yeah, this Am Matrix did make a huge difference if one of these other ultimates does not commit. Grab Am Matrix, a very common combo, but instead, the Shatter comes out from Grim, and instead, just like that, Carroll, they commit maybe a couple too many ultimates, but they know they've only got 20 seconds left to make the magic happen. Last Renew, in particular, able to find 3 kills in the mix-up. KTM gets rest back up, 10 seconds. This is going to turn into a panic push.
And as we're seeing Flower switch over to the hamster, we know that it's going to be a panic push. We are also seeing back over to Lucio.
He didn't even touch. Didn't even get to touch. Just got flashed, got obliterated. And Carroll, they win their second map. I hope y'all like map 5 and 6 because we just got both of those guaranteed.
Wow. While we saw KCB really dominating this game, in the end, it turned out to just not be enough. This Death Blossom was just beautiful in the backline. Chef's kiss.
Yeah, this was phenomenal. I talk about a lot this, if you guys watch NECC normally, you probably hear me say this a lot during kind of my Valorant casting, but one player can only do so much for a team, and I feel that's how KCV is right now. He is playing out of his darn tootin' mind, but unfortunately, it is just, not that the rest of his team is doing poorly, but there's just not the same follow-up, and you addressed that a little bit already, is there's just not, what did you call it? The split focus. They're not focusing targets. It is all of a sudden these, 3 people fight this person, 3 people fight this person, when it should always be 6-on-1. You want to go kill after kill after kill. And unfortunately, Fresno's just not been able to fall back into that pattern.
And maybe that's the late night comms kicking in. Maybe that's the lack of the late night comms. They're just like going for the targets. They're saying there's a head. I'm hitting it. Right. I'm laser focused. That's what we're doing. But when we're at this stage of the evening, or I keep saying evening, it's
morning. We're coming out. The sun's going to start rising for me soon.
I need to go make some coffee. That's what I need to do. But as we're in this early stage of the morning, this is a whole nother level of endurance that we're seeing from these teams. I've played LAN events and taken my teams to LAN events that have lasted, 8-9 hours, playing straight. Absolutely. And they're not playing that long, don't get me wrong. We started this set just, maybe an hour ago, but they are still playing in the early stages of the morning, and this is not a typically a time where they're playing with their team. They're probably maybe playing ranked or hanging out, but coordinated play and being able to shot call properly and target switch is another level than ranked play, right? Right. So it's going to be rough calling this series because it's just so back and forth.
Yeah, and something that I kind of just considered kind of listening to you talk there is assuming that a lot of these students are kind of your average student. They may have had 8 or 10 a.m. classes. I guess yesterday now, but at the point they have been awake for 16, 18 hours. This could have been, I know that I don't have morning class. I woke up at 2 p.m. today, but that's our little secret nuclear. And I know that some of these players, if they're maybe a little bit more responsible with their sleep schedules, they've been up since, like I said, 8 or 10 a.m. They are burning the candle at both ends here, and maybe that's starting to show in their gameplay. I know that if I was playing right now at 4 o'clock in the morning, I would not be doing well.
No, and I hear that. It's also they have to rely on each other.
Absolutely,
as teammates,
absolutely,
right? And it comes down to that trust in the end, the endurance and the trust. But let's just take a deep breath, look back at the series that we've had. Right, map 1, we went to Oasis, and to go through it again, best of 7, right? Control, hybrid, assault, escort, repeat. So we saw Oasis first map. Carroll won that 2-0. Then we went to Kings Row. Fresno won that 4-3. Then we went to Temple of Anubis, and Fresno also barely clutched that out in the end. Very last point, they had to rush to point to even make it. And then map 4, we saw Carroll win that one. So we're currently 2-2 in this series.
Yeah, 2-2 in the series. And reminder, folks, this is a technical first to 4. So we are minimum 2 maps away from being done with this. Maximum, I'm not gonna do math, but speaking of, getting things out of the way, we are gonna be throwing into a super quick break. Use this time, run to the restroom, refill your water bottles, and we'll see you guys back here. This series could be far from over. Don't go far.
What will you like today? Another Cloud 2 classic?
I'll stick with the usual. Maybe take a little bit off the sides.
Oh, that's fresh.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
Hey, watch your head.
What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to yet some more Overwatch. Still Nuclear, still Septulence here to bring you this up-and-coming map. Looks like it's going to be Nepal, and we're getting to that point in the map pool where we're just going to start repeating map types because we are out of map types.
100%, and we are leading into the 5th map of this series. It's currently 2-2 in the Navigators Division Finals. We have Fresno State versus Carroll University, and I am elated to see what
I
we
love
are going
Nepal.
to see on Nepal, because I love Nepal too. You were talking about maps earlier and how you love beautiful maps. My favorite map is probably Lijiang, with Nepal as my second favorite. I love booping, and this map is perfect
Yes.
for boops.
Absolutely, I could not agree more. And honestly, I'm sure Bittervet is right there with you. After getting that quadruple kill earlier, I cannot stop talking about it, and I can only assume he's looking for another one. I can only assume.
The Tom and Jerry meme, right? He's sitting there, he's wiping his hands, smiling, scheming. So I think we're seeing a switch. Immortal Winds is going to come.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Onto, it looks like they're making a swap, and Immortal is going to be swapping out for
TG.
Yeah. Interesting. So we're gonna see what Immortal does on this Reaper versus KCV. Ooh, KCV now switching to the Pharah, which we've not seen since the first map on Oasis, and Cherry opting for. Wow, we're actually seeing Fresno just with a very unique pick in terms of characters. I think they ran this on Temple of Nubis, and they ran this on Oasis.
Yeah, there's a saying that I've heard a couple of other Overwatch casters use as well of when a team locks legs, that team is they are lost. They do not know what they're doing. They do not know how to approach this lineup. And now Cherry going to be locking in the legs, not a character we see often, but maybe a valuable one. Definitely going to be able to put a lot of damage out early on, especially onto Immortal if he chooses to break into that back line. Moving forward, it's going to be all about which one of these DPS finds that entrance frag, and Immortal Winds falling into critical condition, but just barely able to make it out with his life, thanks to that immortality field coming out from Laskardu. And Laskardu looking for that time to shine, not having the best Anubis, having a phenomenal Rialto, and now finally trying to put that redemption arc to shame. Looking to find this for free is going to be KCV, able to find it just like that. The trade coming through Night taken out by Grim Reaper, and KCV just with direct rocket after direct rocket here. Slowly but surely, we see Fresno looking for the kills.
Yeah, KCV in the Iron Man suit, and you know, forcing everything from Carroll right now. Fresno pushing. That minefield is interesting too. Look at all those mines grouped up. That is immediate death if you step through that.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a hyper-aggressive minefield coming out very early on from Flower and Ghost, and it looks like it may have paid off as Fresno may have fought their way back out of this point. Laskardu, one way or another, fell into the abyss, and now Fresno, they've capped point first.
Well, while the minefield did group up in that one entryway, it almost feel like it forced Carroll to go out the other side, and all it took was Fresno to just group up in that other doorway and push in. They had nowhere to go. They were just sitting ducks at that point. We are going to see the balls now popped out from both teams. Grim Reaper and Flower of Ghost both choosing to run Wrecking Ball.
And the Wrecking Ball coming out on both sides. Cherry is going to be able to pick up Silence straight away, and KCV actually just fell as well, so it's going to be that 5v5. Immortal's going to be able to find Flower, and Bittervet even committing the beat here. I'm not completely sure why, but it is going to help Carroll secure that point retake, and it's going to be worth it at the end of the day. Laskardu did pick up that Mercy backpack, sent packing back to spawn. Heyo, KCV not far behind. Immortal Wins on the Reaper, able to clip that Pharah's wings.
You don't see the Reaper clipping the Pharah's wings too often either. Just too much space, and Reaper's just not usually able to win that fight. But as I say that, we see death coming indeed, as KCV has decided he's had enough, and he's switching over to the Reaper himself.
You gotta wonder why he swapped off of it. He has just been such a powerhouse all day long, and now goes to something else. The Pharah doesn't exactly work out, and that Reaper gonna be coming back to fruition, farming things hyper aggressive. And oh my goodness, not the nano. The legs coming out, countered by the High Noon. Might be able to hide himself. A great eat from Night on that grab from Biowolf. Mortality kill from Laskardu taken offline, but the kills already pouring out. Death has returned. Immortal Wins with the triple kill. KCV finding a triple of his own in the mix-up. Biowolf finds Night, and so far, KCV will finally fall. Carroll will reign supreme in this fight.
Yeah, KCV just wasn't able to get in position quick enough to really add any value for his team. I do want to point out Cherry's positioning with that Soldier ult. He denied any ultimate coming out from Silent, and Silent had a solid High Noon set up on point. Cherry was still able to push a lot of Carroll off point. It ended up not mattering in the end because Immortal was able to get that triple kill to secure the point for Carroll. So Fresno looking to push back again. It's at 88%, and they have no time, no breathing room or time to contemplate. They got to get there.
Yeah, the phrase I used earlier today was that panic push, and that's exactly what KCV has to do here. Instead, he chooses to Wraith back out, just really able to make it, and Flower of Ghost is going to be able to touch that immortality field, is going to be able to keep them alive through the minefield, and instead Flower is going to be the first to fall. KCV finds two, but Biowolf will be dismissive of that Reaper immediately after. Nobody's able to touch, and Carroll, they've secured his first stage here on Nepal. They've only got to do it one more time to secure a third point.
KCV just didn't find two. he found both supports. And had that fight been drawn out, that would have been a Fresno fight. I don't know how they weren't able to just hold that point. It really looked to me as though that was all she wrote when KCV came in and got the double on the ult. But they were able to hold their guns, hold their ground and stick to their guns as Carroll University now up 1-0 on this set.
Yeah, that kind of would have made sense both ways. Held their guns and stuck to their ground. That almost does make sense in this phrase. That's kind of a backwards setting, but it definitely does make sense here. And KCV going to be on the sim, could stay on it, could swap off it, could go just for that teleport up above, and it looks like that's exactly what we're going to be seeing. Then get a TP in on the Reaper, not falling too far behind the team. Going to be a 6v6, of course. We're going to see Fresno with not a lead, so to speak, but they are most certainly going to get the point first due to that symmetric teleport.
Yeah, and that symmetric teleport could come out clutch. We're not going to see it though. Cherry, we are going to see on May, and that sounds scary because we know that he has the aim, we know that he has the positioning. Is it going to be enough to get onto point and add the value? We've been talking about value all night. Is it going to be enough?
Yeah, value. We are sounding like broken records at this point, but that is all what this game is about. It's just which one of these teams can find that. And now it's going to be Grim Reaper almost taken out, forcing Immortality Guild early from last, producing great value moving forward, trying to find it in KCV instead. Going to be able to pick up Silent, that Immortality Guild not quite going to get the job done. Flower already has that Shatter online. Can he find the opportunity to use it? Can't get overzealous with this ultimate. You've got to make it count.
Grim's coming from the depths, getting saved as he's backing out. And if you're hearing Biowolf shoot the laser from Zarya's cannon, you will know that, yes, that is in fact 100 charge.
Right, absolutely. And speaking of charge, here comes that Amp. It's a great counter shatter from Flower, but unfortunately no follow-up. That time, not really on the side of Fresno, but instead Cherry's wall gets in the way. Now that's a shatter that requires follow-up. A double pin coming through. Flower of Ghost is going to be able to find Grim Reaper and KCV with the ULT all day long. Able to find a quadruple kill in the mix-up, and the Death Blossom just Fresno on fire here.
Yeah, Fresno burning hot as they took that point, they held it, and this is a close quarters fighting that I said that we would see from Fresno. Oasis took that game 1, and it really surprised me when they took Oasis because I thought that we would see more from Fresno. But as this series is really progressing, Carroll is taking a lot of these long range fights, and they're doing so convincingly, getting the picks in the backlines because we're seeing a lot of a split push come through. Yeah, and we're seeing a field come down from the map.
I'm gonna call that a misclick. I'm gonna call that a misclick. That felt so out of place. That had to be a misclick. And Immortal, you do not try to fight KCV in a 1v1. This man has been nothing short of a menace in that back line. And now Cherry with an early Blizzard. This is gonna be the call grab coming out from Biowolf, but nobody can really follow up off the back of that. Grim finds one into the triple, making a quadruple Earth Shatter. I said, no follow-up coming through, but instead Grim Reaper gladly trying to prove me wrong. But again, follow-up, and guess what we didn't see?
Any follow-up at 100%. And Grim also ulted right after.
Immortal is coming down to him. Oh, nope. Look who it is. KCV on top of things. Oh, what a shatter. Able to find two there. KCV with the triple kill. And Fresno, I mean, they're looking to take Village here 100-0. KCV dropping an insult to injury. Death Blossom coming out, and unfortunately nobody is able to touch. Maybe get the exit frag, but 1-1 on stage 3 going into Nepal. Both these teams desperate to take the lead.
So, KCV, taking a page out of Grim Reaper's book that I said a couple of weeks ago, and we were on cast, it felt like when Grim Reaper was playing against Concordia University, I think Nebraska, it really felt as though Earth Shatter was not an ultimate, but rather an ability that was just on cooldown, right? KCV's Death Blossoms feel like abilities that are on cooldown because he has one nearly every single fight.
Right. No, I could not agree more. I mean, he has been, like I said, nothing short of a menace on this Reaper. And Reaper not really in the meta, so to speak. Not a hero we see super often right now at those higher ranks. So to see KCV just putting in the work on this Reaper so far has been incredible. And again, he's going to go for that Sim TP strat back onto the Reaper. But honestly, I would have liked to see Symmetra here. I think she's a lot of fun. But anywho, going to be locked into that Reaper. May on both sides. Ryan Zarya on... Okay, actually an exact mirror matchup. We're seeing McCree versus Reaper. Other than that, we are looking at a clean mirror.
Yep, and they are going for the brawl. That's why we are seeing the Lucio come out from either side.
Speaking of death.
Yep, and Grim Reaper's going to take out their Lucio as Carroll's now on the back foot.
Grim Reaper is 11% away from Earth Shatter. Just want to put that out there. We talked about it. He was using him like a menace, just constantly on that cooldown, basically an ability, and already about to have it for this next fight.
And if he's able to get a good position, honestly, if because I know that we're both right mains, right, Sep? So
yes,
honestly, what I'm doing is I'm holding corner here, right? I'm trying to build that 5-6 charge, and when they're coming around the corner, I'm hitting once and I'm shattering the whole team.
Oh, absolutely. What I'm doing here is I'm hitting a 6-man Earth Shatter, and then I'm left shifting into them and immediately knocking all of them away from my team so nobody can follow up. That's probably what I'm doing here on the approach, but, you know, maybe that's why I can't escape low masters. You know, maybe that's my my curse, so to speak. Now, ACV on a silent, however, the Reaper going to be cleaning up the work of the Rhine. Grim Reaper did find some great value there with that Earth Shatter, slowly but surely able to get things lined up, and Fresno, you know, just they're able to prevail. The follow-up was there, but not nearly as strong as it needed to be.
Yeah, Nepal, not as much of, I would say, really an open map as Oasis. Oasis has a lot of openness to it, and Fresno is forcing these very small, close fights with Carroll. And when you have KCP winning these matchups and really clutching it through, and these massive Earth Shatters coming
that was 5.
Flower.
That was 5. That was everybody but Bitter, I believe. And yeah, Bitter's the only one to survive it as well. That was I don't want to use the word free, but that was clean.
What they needed.
Yeah, that was exactly what they needed. And now they've taken a percent lead.
Yep, and they only used one ult. They only used one ult, and they have all of their other ults coming online, like above 80% for every other ult for Fresno right now.
Yeah, no, as my favorite bellhop athlete Tipton would say, this is a disaster if you are a Carroll fan right now, because they are going up against the impossible. This is going to be 5 ultimates online, and we've seen how fast these Rhines can farm, but instead, KCV going to be the first to fall a little bit overzealous. Here is ultimates left, right, and center, and beat High Noon, Grab, and another application matrix, yet nobody has fallen yet, except for KCV. Now the Blizzard coming out from Immortal Winds on the far side, maybe just enough to get the job done, but instead, Carroll going to be the first one to lose a player there. Silent will fall, Flower of Ghost taken offline, just saw that 5v5 coming through, and Lasker dude just desperate to find this a bloodthirsty support if I've ever seen.
Is it Christmas time? Because I'm hearing some carols and ringing. It is raining through 35% on the clock as they're going to take it back. And it doesn't look like that's really all she wrote for Fresno, because they have 74%. You know, even if they're able to take it back, Carroll still has time to come back. But the ult economy kind of got messed up in that fight. You know, Fresno had a lot of ults going into that fight. They used almost everything except for KCB's Death Blossom, which makes me wonder, is that all they really need?
Right, and honestly, knowing how we've seen KCB play, the only reason he didn't use it is because he died before he got the opportunity. He was taken out first in that fight. He did not get the option to press Q, and now he's going to find it right here. Not going to be able to find anything thanks to a phenomenal immortality field. Does pick up Bitter Bed. KCB taking all right after Cherry with 1, Cherry with 2. Just able to find some great value, finding 3 offline. Now looking for a 4th, but it's going to be Night able to pick up Silent and Fresno. This is last fight territory here on Nepal. They may be able to take this map.
500,000 IQ coming out.
No doubt.
He popped the High Noon when KCB was Death Blossoming, so they could not hear the ultimate come through.
Yeah, ultimates left, right, and center. Cherry going to be able to find Grim Reaper again. Flower of Ghost taken offline. It's going to be a clean 5v5, not a shield in sight. Vexarath gone, Cherry gone, and just as I said, final fight for Carroll. The double support melee kill in the kill feed. KCB finds Bitter Bet and Immortal Winds, able to get rid of Backpack just in time. Now overtime, but a complete and total team kill. Carroll, they have come back to life. They are desperate to win Nepal all the same.
Sure, and as we're looking at it, you know, we are seeing Fresno has the ultimate advantage. Immortal is coming up on Blizzard, and that pretty much is it on the side of Carroll. But, wow, I want to touch on that again. Cherry popping High Noon when KCB was using Death Blossom to mask the sound of the ultimate popping was just
genius.
So smart.
Genius. Absolutely.
Great play, amazing play. It wasn't enough though, and Carroll is going to be able to hold point as we are looking for this last push. The beat's going to come down, and I'm sorry, the sleigh bells are ringing because the snow is dropping on point.
Absolutely. Here comes that Blizzard once again. Immortal not able to find anything. Instead, KCV picks up 1 and Silent with the double pulse bomb. Just going to be taken out in the same vein, the same breath. Even Cherry with that High Noon. Grim Reaper desperate to find these kills on the Wrecking Ball. Just playing that spin to win strategy, looking to take out this Reinhardt early, but down to 95 health, out of support in sight. Going to go around the far side looking for the Mega, but Cherry got to be quicker than that. Fastest hands in the West, and Fresno now just barely flashbang, keeping the Lucio off point in Fresno. They have done it again.
Well, you know who else has done it again? Cherry has done it again, and
no doubt
that he is the sheriff around these parts, and this town ain't big enough for the two of us.
Yeah, no, this town most certainly is not big enough for anybody other than Cherry. Just a phenomenal turnaround here, and Immortal wins. This was a crucial play as well. Not only takes out Flower of Ghost, but then is able to get in and get a lot of death plus and value. Finds the 3, I believe. Yeah, gonna be able to pick up that triple kill, quadruple, including the assist. And I want to get a look here. Who had the most eliminations? Actually, only objective kills. KCV sitting at 42 elims, but I want to point out Bitter Vet, 14,553 healing done.
That's a lot of healing. For a Lucio, that's a pretty good amount of healing. You know, my guy's pumping them out.
Most in lobby. I mean, that's insane. A Lucio with most healing in lobby, but after a game as long as that one, not as surprising. And I'm very curious to see. Our next map type is hybrid, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm curious to see. They can't go back to King's Row. What comes next?
I'm honestly not sure. I could see really anything. I wish we could see the pick bans come through, because it'd be really nice to see, you know, what's getting banned out as to, you know, not just picked, but what maps do they not want to play on? Maybe Hollywood?
Right. Yeah, no, I think Hollywood is probably an expectation here. I know that hybrid maps, if King's Row is not chosen, Hollywood almost always is. I feel like everybody kind of hates Noombani. I don't know if that's true. Chat might flame me for that. I know I hate Noombani, but that's more of a personal opinion. I know that we don't see it very often, you know, in the casting booth. It's not something I'm familiar with. But Nuclear, I kind of, you know, this is a great time between games to do what I would consider my favorite thing on broadcast. Talk about myself. Everybody, I'm only 8 followers away from 600 followers on Twitter. So if you guys want to go follow me on Twitter at Septilence, it's just my name. So if you guys want to go do that, that'd be super cool.
You know what else is really funny, Septilence?
What's that?
I also like talking about myself.
No way!
And you know what's even crazier?
What's that?
Have been currently staggering between 5 and 4 followers away from 900 followers for about a month now. So
guys, come on, do the man a favor.
Snip me over the edge. You can follow me on Twitter at Chase Newcomb, or check me out on my website at chasenewcomb.com.
Dang, all right, you got me there, man. I do not have a website, but Nuke, speaking of following things, you know what else they should follow is, of course, the wonderful NECC channel that we are broadcasting this to you from right now. Even if it is 4:15 a.m. on the East Coast, I will plug until the very moment I fall asleep. So everybody, drop a follow on the channel. There is so much to come in the future for NECC, nothing but on the up and up. And of course, a shout out to each and every one of you for sticking around. I mean, best case scenario here in the U.S., you're sitting at what? 1 o'clock in the morning. So I mean, it is definitely becoming late for each and every single one of us, and we cannot thank you guys enough for sticking around. This is, I mean, as I'm sure you can all tell, this is quite the series at hand.
I gotta give 2 more shout outs. You shouted out NECC, right? And I want to make sure that you know the at on Twitter is at NECC Games, and I do want to give the shout out to the person that's never able to get the shout out but is always here 24/7, Caleb Glooby. You should follow him on Twitter at Gloobinator, GLUB1NATOORR. He is on every single cast. He runs everything behind the scenes here at the NECC, and something of note to that is, if you guys are watching on PC right now, you've got that little timer in the bottom corner of how long this broadcast has been running. He's been here 2 hours since before that, so he has been here all day long. You think the casters have had it rough? You thought Infernosis and Unicorn were here for a while. Caleb has been here even longer, so definitely go give him a follow, give him a shout out in chat, or do whatever. But he definitely deserves it. It's weird. I actually, when Sept and I came in, we went to pop in and say hi. The man had a beard.
It was incredible. It was like a wizard beard. It was amazing.
Beard. We were like, wow, when did you grow that? He was like, oh, you know, before the first set.
Yeah, it's been incredible. With how long these sets have been today, he has grown this incredible wizard beard, and I think he can cast a spell on us at any moment, so we may want to stop talking about said beard. But I'm excited, though, because now we're going to be moving into Eichenwald, the map that I personally haven't cast in a little while, so I'm really excited to be seeing this come out here. I was talking about King's Row and Hollywood earlier. I kind of forgot Eichenwald exists, so I'm pretty excited to see that coming out here.
Yeah, you know what I am surprised to hear coming out as well in chat. I'm seeing SGK Carroll. You saw her in the previous match, and you can follow her on Twitter as well at SGK Carroll. She's been here.
Carroll, I'm sorry.
Since 5 p.m. Eastern time as well, really putting in the work, making sure that the broadcast here is nothing short of quality for you guys. And I believe it's either Carroll or Noah currently behind the scenes running the camera going on. So you know what?
Both shout out to them. I don't know. One or both.
But shout out to the whole production crew. They're doing a phenomenal job.
No doubt.
As you pointed out, Septilence, we can't ignore the elephant in the room, or the Eichenwald in the room. I'm very excited to see the German engineering come to fruition. If we don't see a double Reinhardt on this map, and if they're not brawling
I'll be
under
so
the bridge,
sad.
I don't want it. I don't want it.
Yeah,
If it's
I'll be
not
so
that, I don't want
sad. It's just not worth it. I know. Also, Noah, he's controlling the lobby. Carroll, she's controlling the camera, so we could not do what we do without either. Nuke and I are just here to look and sound handsome, but we can't do that without the help of our wonderful production crew. But we'll finally stop talking about them and start talking about the players once again. We're going to see KTM swapped right back in, so that was kind of a weird transition there.
Yeah, I honestly could see why they wanted to swap off of him for Immortal. Maybe Immortal is more of the individualized Reaper pick, and KTM is just filling it. But KTM, I while Immortal had a couple of great clips and a great triple kills, I almost feel like KTM had the overall better pressure in those first couple of maps, and it was really showing through from Fresno's side. You know, they were scared of KTM. They were not approaching without taking deliberation first.
Yeah, absolutely. This is definitely something I want to see coming forward. Is, like you said, kind of the Ryan v. Ryan matchup. And right now, Grim Reaper and Beowulf, they are breaking my heart because I just want to see. I mean, this is where Reinhardt was made, right? I want to see that matchup. But Beowulf going for the Roadhog, I can only assume as just a solo counter against KCV.
Maybe. They don't have the Ryan. So, and Grim is currently playing the Zarya, so maybe this is a comp they're looking to stick with. I know that this was very popular at the beginning of last season when Roadhog first saw the buffs, but as we're moving into this map, Beowulf is going to find the pick on Flower and find the value that they needed. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we just see Beowulf coming through, finding some great value right away on the Roadhog. And I was hesitant, but, I was going to say the second he hits that hook, it's going to make all the difference. And that is exactly what happened there. And we see Vexrat able to pick up Grim Reaper. So the 1-for-1 trade comes through. Flower has plenty of time to return to the fight now. We're going to see Carroll push in to a 5v5, which they probably aren't going to win.
Yeah, it's not looking very good for Carroll as KCV is finding another pick. And Fresno is coming back with a vengeance. Nine taking a bit of it. Cherry looking to find the shots on Silent, emptying the clip and saying, "There's only once again, this town's only big enough for the two of us." Or one of us. Out of the two of us.
This town ain't big enough for the two of us, and it looks like this time it is going to be Cherry coming through. 15% away from that high noon already, so got about 30% on top of Silent here. Those are kind of the ultimates I'm going to be looking for in this upcoming fight. Vexarath may have that Amp Matrix as well, but it's kind of up to him whether or not he wants to use it. And speaking of the devil, Cherry with that immediate high noon.
Yeah, the high noon, like I said, from Cherry, he's not just going to use those to try to get the picks like a Reddit Cree. He's going to use those to create space. And space is what's needed when Flower is purple and sub 100 health. We're going to hear the Hog come out, the Earth Shatter come out, and then KCV is going to get in position, and the Death Blossom is all she wrote.
That was so preventable. That was so... I don't want to talk poorly on Carroll, but I mean, KCV could have been read like a children's book right there, and instead they just let him get away with murder. That was a 4K in something that could have very easily been flashbanged had they just been watching what was behind them as well.
I almost feel like he was reciting Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven as he was getting up in position, and they were just almost allured by it. You know, they don't worry about him, he's fine, he's doing his thing. And then he came in and wrecked their entire team.
Yeah, just like that. I mean, KCV, if that is the team to win, if Fresno takes that victory here away today, then my MVP, undoubtedly. And Grim Reaper committing a unique grab there. Oh, excuse me, that was Night Knight's grab. So Night Knight committing a unique grab there, but definitely something that was not my favorite option, but it looks like they may still have been able to turn the fight around. Grim Reaper getting a couple of kills in the mix-up, and Flower of Ghost able to find a double in the back line. So the grab, it was weird, but I think it does pay off.
It split the team enough, right?
Yeah,
they got a couple of grab and the other couple, and this is where those 3:30, 4:30 a.m. comms are coming through. They were split in that moment, and they didn't know what to do. They just kept pushing to point, and those comms, you got to be clear and concise. Hey, we're getting grabbed, back up. Don't push in yet. Wait for us.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that split is exactly what Night Knight was aiming for. I think you kind of hit that nail right on the head. Silent now with the high noon, going to be able to find Vex, a crucial kill, and an even bigger Earth Shatter coming out from Flower of Ghost. They're able to find 3 in the lineup. Cherry now going to be taking out KTM. Some pressure coming out on these sides, and Cherry might be able to live, but no, Grim Reaper is bloodthirsty, bringing Cherry to death's door. All of a sudden, this looks like this may actually be Carroll's fight to take KCV. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I needed there on that bridge. That immediate flashbang out of Ultimate, read like a children's book.
Silent said, shh, 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 calm down. Die, no, shh, stop. And everyone else went, sheesh.
Cannot make it through an esports broadcast without one sheesh coming out from one of us, man. I'll tell you what, that is exactly what happened there.
And as we're now looking, Carroll has KTM's Death Blossom. They have BioWolf's Whole Hog, and they have Laskerdu's ult to hit onto Fresno's side. So the defense may come out, or sorry, the offense may come out strong here on this first corner. And this is a corner that you're looking to hold.
Absolutely. This is definitely a corner you want to look to hold here and try to find some, maybe not early value, but consistent value coming through. We want to see KTM with the Death Blossom of his own. He's going to jump from the top rope here. Oh, the flashbang, we saw it, but it didn't connect. It was just inches away. And Carroll now looks like they are going to be able to get things lined up. And oh, Cherry going to be hooked out of the high noon, but a great anti-nade from Vex going to be able to keep him alive.
Yeah, and BioWolf's just going to be able to push this through. Wow.
Wow, dirty.
Charity pulling him off the map. And this is why we saw BioWolf on the Hawk. Maybe he's trying to get these plays. Ooh, the shield coming up last second from Flower, just going to stop that altogether.
Absolutely. Wow, nobody can get an ultimate out recently. That is like the third ult in a row we've immediately seen interrupted. Gonna see BioWolf get slept out of that whole hog, and Silent finally able to get a kill here with an ultimate. 4th time's the charm. Vexarath gonna be taken out again. I mean, Vexarath starting to look a lot like last review on Anubis here, just not getting to play the game.
Ooh, and the Earth Shatter's coming out to prevent anything from happening at the grab, and it's not going to matter. I really feel like that Earth Shatter, while it was thoughtful from Flower, was just completely wasted.
The ideology was there, but the execution simply was not. I think we saw the plan kind of playing out in action, but there was no fruition coming out toward the end. And Laskerdu with a Bionade kill onto Flower. That's just kind of insulting at this point. You have already got some things figured out here on the offense, but staggering that Reinhardt's most certainly going to help this first fight.
And that's not feeling good from Flower, because Flower just died in that grab after Earth Shattering. So that was his first time back. He came back and died immediately. You know, if you look at the ults on Fresno's side, he's struggling in that department. So they are going to look to bolster their front line moving forward, or they're going to suffer on this push.
No doubt about that. And KCB going for a Death Blossom, not going to be able to find much. And oh, BioWolf makes the mistake of trusting a Transcendence with a High Noon. Those instant kill abilities do not care about Transcendence, and that High Noon is most certainly one of them. Now it's going to be that 5v5. BioWolf taken offline. Cherry almost taken out by Laskerdu, but going to be able to just barely survive the brink of death. Bitterbat picks up Backpack. One support finds another, and Night Knight looking for a good opportunity to pop this grab. Instead, going to look right into the ground and just kind of accept death.
I think they're looking to reset. One final hold. One final hold, but
if they even have the time.
I feel like Night Knight had enough time to really grab there.
I agree.
And
I
set
agree.
up a
Several times.
Grab. Yeah. Well, we're gonna hear it come out finally, though. Coming from downtown, gonna grab on point. It is massive, and KTM setting up for the Death Blossom, 98%.
Yeah, KTM's actually about to turn this around, I think. Back cap, maybe even a back cap. They have no idea he's back there.
That's it.
They have no idea he's back there. This
they
could
told
be.
him to wait.
Oh no, he's gonna play it slow. He's gonna play it patient. And KTM, I want this so bad. I'll be honest. I'm not rooting for either team here, but I want this back cap so darn tootin' bad. Nothing more insulting.
I would do it now. Why
is he waiting? You know, he's making a huge mistake here. Maybe he's waiting for the re-engage. Maybe he's still looking to Death Blossom. Here he comes creeping forward. He can't decide if he wants to go for it. Every second he waits is going to be a second of nothing short of pain. And now, oh, he gets trapped. He gets trapped by Cherry's trap. And now they know somebody's back there.
Why is he raising?
Why is he raising? So many mistakes. KTM, you've thrown it. You've thrown it away. My friend, all that effort and for naught.
This is why we can't have nice
turnaround. Wow, that was just a massive stagger. That was just a 40-second stagger.
This is why we can't have nice things, KTM.
I'm sad. My disappointment is immeasurable and my day is ruined. I am unbelievably upset that did not work out well. And now, Fresno, this is the prime opportunity to play that defense once again. Grim Reaper already going to be able to find KCB, and okay, not even a fight, just a free defensive hold.
That was the weirdest conversion on the last point of Eichenwald I've ever seen. Like that
was a weird one.
All of that back and forth play was just so awkward. It felt awkward. It looked awkward. The picks were just through ultimates. I don't know. I feel as though Carroll could have had that push. They were on the cusp. KTM really just had to touch. They were only 1 meter away. Diana's not going to have time to turn around and stop. You just have to crawl touch point and just Prade's going to touch. And I get why he was waiting, right? He had death
Right,
blossom.
of course.
But even if they turn around to fight you, you push to the front of cart, you death blossom long enough so it just pushes in.
Exactly.
It's going to be 2 seconds. It's not going to be long at all.
Yeah, no, exactly. I think what we needed to see there is maybe just get on cart, get the Ana's attention, Wraith the Sleep Dart, and then Death Blossom. And that's a 3 very early cap. I mean, that's exactly what we needed to see coming out there. But instead, just no dice, unfortunately.
Yeah. And now we're going to see Carroll on defense, right? Is that right? Yeah, we're seeing Carroll on defense, and we're seeing Fresno pushing. So... I don't know. We've been saying it all night, but I really feel as though Fresno has the stronger offense of these two teams. Carroll, though, up in the set 3-2 and really proving that they're a formidable force. I don't know what more Fresno can do to break the chinks in the armor.
Yeah, no, I believe Fresno is up 3-2. I believe you may have that backwards. I think Fresno is currently up 3-2. But I do agree with the initial point that they have a stronger offense. I think that is definitely a great observation. I think KCV is almost single-handedly the reason for that.
If that is the case, it is definitely wrong on the street.
Yeah, no, I believe it is. I have people DM me that it's wrong, but hopefully we're going to get that fixed and figured out here in just a couple of minutes. But either way, I mean, Fresno, they are desperate to find Eichenwald. If they find Eichenwald, we get to go to bed. And that's it is just reaching 4:30 in the morning here on the East Coast. I'm sure there are at least some people in chat ready to do just that. Biowolf with that first elimination coming through for Cherry. Silent Falls, last dude gone as well, and Flower of Ghost able to find 2 kills, a third of the team gone. KCV looking for another one. Going to fall very low, but Grim Reaper going to fall at death's door. And Fresno, they have just... It is not even one fight. They have ripped this attempt apart.
And I think we've gotten to the point of the evening where KCD and Backpack kind of have put their arms around each other and said, you know what, bro? Let's just push this together. I'm over it. I'm done. Follow me. We're winning this.
Yeah, I believe that is the attempt here. That speed boosted Reaper is a terrifying thing to consider. He's a very fast lad with that speed boost rocking around. And Silent back on the Widowmaker. I've said it before. I'll say it again. Not the most consistent game plan. Widowmaker not strong enough to be busting this out in finals, in my opinion. And no insult to Silent's Widowmaker. I'm sure he could dunk on me any day of the week. But right now, this Widowmaker has not been coming out as strong as I feel it needs to. And yeah, KCV is well aware of that fact. That he's immediately going to teleport up there. He knows Silent's not going to find that kill. And he's just looking to find the DPS lineup as a whole.
Yeah, and it's going to work for him. I mean, he has the Death Blossom ready. Backpack got the pick on Biowolf. We are going to hear the grab come out, but what's the follow-up? The follow-up is Cherry instead deciding to pop High Noon and pick out KTM, and this is looking all she wrote for the second point. KCV's even getting in a position to punish this, and he's not even going to need to use the ultimate. Laskardu is deciding to call it quits and jumping off edge, and, well, Fresno State looking really, really fresh right now as they're pushing into second point and making this look like map 1.
Yeah, I mean, Fresno in a current scenario to cap with almost 6 minutes on the clock. I mean, that is a disaster. There goes a free Transcendence, and here comes KCV from the top rope, able to find one, and that may be all they need. The Zenyatta has fallen, the extra healing is gone, and the Nano and Ryan hardly makes a difference. Grim Reaper going to get booped off point. He's going to be eliminated here slowly but surely. KCV finds these kills. Vexarath picks up another one, and my only guess right now is these players, they are just running on fumes at this point. They are slowly but surely kind of running their batteries to the bitter end, and I think we're really seeing that in Carroll here. I feel they're starting to make more and more small mistakes.
With 5 minutes and 10 seconds of bank time as well, I don't know how Fresno doesn't take this point, right?
Right, I agree.
They have everything that they need. They just need one wipe. And if you can't make one wipe in 5 minutes, well, then maybe you don't deserve to be the champions, right?
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, there we go. Fire Strike able to find 2 already, and that's going to be a crucial kill as well. The Wrecking Ball gone. Biowolf has nowhere to run. The Immortality keeps him alive for a moment, but not nearly long enough, and that box of victory just mere inches away at this point. 4 minutes and 40 seconds from a victory. Fresno, they are looking to do it. They are looking to be your Navigator Division champions.
And they're looking to do it convincingly. We're hearing the High Noon come out from Cherry. It's not going to find anyone, though. Looking for heads. He's headhunting now. Is he going to find anything? No, instead Silent is going to find Backpack, and that is going to put a complete halt to Fresno's push. As, like you said, the box is there. They can smell sweet victory in the early hours of the morning. The dew is falling, and the dew is dripping down the throats of Fresno as they are ready to take it on.
Yeah, no, this is exactly what they want. And that high noon from Silent immediately going to force KCV back. And Silent may fall, though. Just barely going to get healed up. Instead, Vexarath going to be the first to fall. Still 4 minutes left on the clock. And, I mean, we are looking at, right now, Carroll, they have to do seemingly the impossible. A 4-minute stall. And KCV in the back line finds one. Going to be traded out right away. Cherry and Night Knight not far behind. And the Nano and Ryan trying to make all the difference. But Grim Reaper going to be able to not get those kills quite yet. Finds the tank line. Finally going to be able to pick it up. And if you're Fresno, you probably sound like everybody's favorite cartoon dog, Ruh-Roh, because that is the second fight in a row you have lost.
But Grim Reaper clutched that out. It was
absolutely
really...
The Nano as well was
the
massive.
Nano. That's what I was going to say. The Nano from Laskerdu onto Grim Reaper halted that entire push. KCV got 3 picks in the backline. They had no chance of winning that. And then Laskerdu said, you know what? Here's our final hope. Got Grim ulted, and now Grim has Earth Shatter. And the entirety of Fresno is just looking to build ults in the next fight.
Yeah, absolutely. They are looking to build these ults in the next fight, indeed. And this is going to be kind of a huge opportunity for Carroll to keep this alive. If they can win this, they can put themselves at 3 points and take us to another map. They've got the Shatter. It's going to have to be huge. No other ultimate is quite ready to be brought out yet. We see no ultimates alive on the side of Fresno. All they have to do, Grim Reaper just needs to land this Shatter to keep this fight alive.
Hey.
There it is! There it is! There it is! A 4-man Earth Shatter. That should be just enough, but no.
The Batfield's gonna save them.
Gonna be able to keep them alive, and instead Grim Reaper gonna be the first to fall. KCV taken offline. One McCree able to find a Reaper, and Silent with a high noon from up above. Might be able to find something, but instead uses it to zone. I love the idea. Every second counts, and Flower cannot make it out of the fight. That Reinhardt will fall. Fresno, they are running out of time. This is feeling really good on the side of Carroll.
And Fresno realizing that the time is slowly ticking down, they are backing up. And Carroll looking to push their advantage. Don't know if I like that or not. They are going to back it up, and that's probably for the best. If they were to get picked there, that could be a steamroll to the end.
Absolutely, that could be a steamroll to the bitter end indeed. Here comes a grab from Bio. We'll talk about an early ultimate. Backpack has the beat to cancel it out. Laskerdu with the Nano. The tire from Cherry not able to find anything, and instead another massive Shatter from Grim Reaper might be able to keep the fight alive. Backpack going to be taken offline. Grim Reaper falls as well, but instead, my goodness, it is Flower of Ghost with a 5-man Earth Shatter of his own. KCV and Night Knight put Carroll to Night Knight, send this entire team back to spawn, and all of a sudden, this could be all she wrote. KCV hanging outside of spawn. He's got that Death Blossom online, looking for a kill, finds one, looking to find as many more as he can, picks up another, and just like that, Eichenwald comes to a close. Fresno, they are your Navigator Division champions here in Eichenwald. This final score, I believe, going to be 4-2.
Yep, final score going 4-2. We did see Carroll take Oasis. We did see Fresno take King's Row. We saw Fresno take Temple of Anubis. We saw Carroll take Rialto, and then we saw Carroll take Nepal and finished it out with Eichenwald. And what a performance from both of these teams. All players all around should be nothing short of proud of the performance that they put in this evening. And morning.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, and then coming up at 4:30 in the morning here on the East Coast, of course, I've said a couple of times, I want to point out KCV again, hanging out with the card, 45 eliminations, 66% of what the team had to offer here on Eichenwald. That is just an absolutely phenomenal turnaround there every single time. And, before I don't know if we're throwing it to the desk or if we're just calling it a night, but before we do either of those things, just a massive thank you to both of these teams for coming out. I know it is final weeks. I'm a student as well. I know the pain you guys are probably feeling, but Fresno, Carroll, they show up. Everybody watching as well. I know you guys have just been hanging out until the bitter end. And Fresno, they were finally able to take it here on Eichenwald. So no map 7, but this has been an incredible night. So thank you everybody so much for sticking around.
And I'm more than happy to take it to map 6. It
Absolutely.
was a close series.
Absolutely.
It was a very close series. It was on the cusp. It could have gone either way for the longest time. At the beginning of the series, I really thought Carroll was going to be able to bring it back, but it looks like they just fell short. They got gassed out, and that's perfectly fine. Learn from the mistakes. This is going to be great VOD material for both of these teams. But as Subtilance and I are kind of finishing this out, we are going to throw it back over to our desk for the evening.
Yeah, we're going to be waiting in just a minute. We're going to be waiting for JVR to be joining us at the desk. And of course, this is going to be a good opportunity. We will plug ourselves just one more time. Everybody go ahead and follow us on Twitter. This one won't be as complicated as JVR is going to be hopping into that chat. But folks, thank you so much to all of our great production teams sticking around from 5 p.m. to 5 a.m., nearly 12 hours on the clock. Thank you, everybody, so much for watching. Check your posture, drink some water. Don't forget to love each other. We'll see you later.
What a finale here this evening. Fresno State pulling it off at the castle at Eichenwald. What a great place for a finale here, Jacob. Just really a fun map to watch.
Very much so. And kudos to Fresno. They really asserted themselves as that map went on. They did a very good job going forward. They took control and really just seized that map and obviously sending them to a championship.
I do feel bad, and the announcers had it right. The Reaper for Carroll had the possibility of backcapping, and I don't know what they were waiting for. They sat there seemingly forever, and then when they finally did jump down, got caught on the trap, and that was basically all she wrote. And because I was hoping for it too, they were like, "We're not cheering for anybody, but we're hoping for this." And I'm sitting there like, "Oh man, that'd be something great to watch here in the finals. A back cap would have been awesome." Didn't happen, but Fresno just played so well tonight, and they definitely deserve the win.
I agree. I thought Carroll came out great. We talked about that after the second map when we spoke, Jim. And from that point forward, I give Fresno a lot of credit. It seemed like they made the in-game adjustments and they went forward. They really took control as the night went on. And kudos to them. I thought we had another great championship, another thriller, but Fresno in the end, rightful champions in my opinion.
Oh yeah, no, definitely, and especially the way the regular, like you said, the way the regular season went, they definitely deserve to be the number one seed, and they definitely deserve the win here tonight. I know Caleb's going to be getting us our interviewees here in the chat with us. But no, just fun to watch the whole way. I kind of wish it would have gone to 7 just for the lulls, because it would have taken us once again to 5 a.m. East Coast time.
Yeah, we might be done before 5 here tonight.
Yeah, we might get done before 5. What a concept. The birds are not yet singing here in Iowa, so I will not have an accompaniment on my way home tonight this morning, whatever time it is. Time has ceased to matter here in the NECC. And then tomorrow, while we're waiting here, Overwatch finishes up tomorrow, but we also have Hearthstone tomorrow, and I believe there's one that I'm missing as well, Jacob.
There's a Rocket League game to kick things off. Mountain St. Mary's taking on Bryant to kick things off. Then we'll have 3 Hearthstone championships, I should say, and then we'll cap it off with our final Overwatch championship of the night.
And that will also be our final championship of the season.
That's number 19.
There it is. And so that one will probably go off sometime around 1 a.m., 1:30 Eastern time tomorrow, the way things have been going this week. It looks like, oh my God, it looks like half the school from Fresno State.
Everybody's
here.
Yes, sir.
Fresno, congratulations.
Thank you.
I have to ask, before we get into talking about how well you guys played, did any of you know that Reaper was back there looking for a back cap?
Yes.
Be honest.
I was
looking for it. I was sitting there. I was looking for it, and I was like, it was literally called beforehand. Watch for back cap. So I was just sitting there looking for it.
I'm saying, remember, we had somebody looking straight at it, and that Anna never turned around. I'm just saying, never turned around. We have it on stream. Somebody could clip it. No, you guys played so well. The last push there. Everything you guys wanted, and KCV, seriously, you're gonna get arrested just for mass murder over there.
Hit Q to dub.
Jesus, the announcer said it best, just doing everything that needed to be done. I don't want to take anything away from anybody. Cherry, you going against your counterpart as well. I think the DPS did tell the difference in this one.
Yes, sir. I was on point. My aim was on point. I was ready for today. Warmed up, drank all my water I can. That did work today.
Oh, that's right, water.
Water is key.
Can't forget the water.
Can't forget the water. The announcers were talking about it. The great play coming out of the supports. Was there anything different for you guys tonight playing support, or it was just a normal day at the office for you guys?
It was kind of just a normal day. Obviously, we had the nerves of the championship and everything. But before when we first played these guys, it was kind of a rough start. We didn't have a good game, obviously, because we lost and stuff. But to be honest with you, it was kind of just a normal day. Monday we had a great scrim. Tuesday we had a great VOD, and we just came into this match with our mentals high. I mean, like we knew and we did good. I want to thank Vex. I want to thank the whole team. We all popped off, and it was kind of just a normal day.
Hey guys, I got to ask you. I don't know who wants to take this, but we had 3 teams representing the state of California tonight compete in Overwatch finals. They went 3-0. UC Santa Cruz got a win. CSUDH gets a win, and obviously you guys get a win. What's going on out there? That's big time.
I guess I'll take this one. I honestly think that I think it's time for the West Coast to start getting out there. A lot. I know that like Maryville and Mizzou and a lot of the better teams that are out there in the top 10 back east. Have had their time, and I think now that esports has grown as a whole, and I think that more schools are starting to adapt to it, including ourselves. This is only our second year with the program, actually. Fresh, I would say, especially for our second squad. So I think it's just more of a rise of popularity coming to the West, and seeing events like this are making people motivated to come to school. At Fresno State and all the other CSUs and UCs out here in Cali to even out the odds.
That's awesome.
I would like to point out, as an alumnus of Missouri and knowing exactly where Marymount is, or Maryville. You say Marymount or Maryville?
Maryville.
Yeah, both of those schools being in the state of Missouri, neither one of them considers themselves east. For the record, they're definitely east of California, but they're not east.
Anything east of California is east, man. I get that. That's like anything west of New York.
I draw the line at Texas.
That's fair. That's fair.
To be fair, Missouri is equidistant as Texas east of California. It's all in the middle right there. Anyway, though, last but not least, I wanted to ask the tanks. So many of the plays started off with the tanks. Either with a grab, a shatter, another earth rending ultimate. On point were the tanks today. Were you guys seeing anything different?
I just knew that so we had all this energy, we had all this hype going up, that I could trust my DPS, trust my support to be able to keep me alive and be able to enable me for the plays. I knew that when I'm gonna shatter, I'm gonna get follow up on the DPS. That when we call for Zara to grab, that we're going to get follow-up from the DPS, and we're going to get follow-up from the supports. We're going to be able to get this huge ultimate, get the follow-up, and be able to outplay with it.
Alrighty. Well, Jacob, I believe you have something for this third team from California.
I do indeed, guys. This is coming your way. We'll get you the trophy out there. We'll get you shirts. We'll get you the Cloud Alpha headset. Congratulations. Well-deserved championship.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Enjoy. Nice way to cap off the semester. Finish it off with a title. Congratulations.
And maybe we'll send you guys a map so you can figure out where Missouri is.
Hey, I didn't pass geography in high school. So
I know the same geometry. This guy.
Maybe not geometry. I would say everybody in that lobby passed geometry. I'm just saying the way you guys were picking angles out there. I think you all passed geometry. That's fine. Fresno, congratulations to all of you. Well played, well deserved.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Great job, guys.
Respect to Carroll. Good games.
Yeah. They gave us a run
You
for our
played a
money.
good
They were
game.